What's up, duelists? Brand new video, brand new deck. I took it to a tournament. I got second place. I got all the testing matches, all the tournament matches. You guys already know. It's going to be a banger. It's the only deck you're going to see on Dueling Book for the next week. You already know. The last time I posted one, oh, you already know. You already know. Let's get into it. Anyway, check out this pretty card I won. It's pretty sick. Yeah, that's pretty sick. I won this and some other shit. I don't fucking know. But that card's sick. Before we get into it, I want to give a little shout out. I'm going to be editing this. I got to shout out my boy Gappy S. He's always testing Quick Draw, and he gave me a few ideas for this deck. I want to shout out Swifty. Swifty's a really strong player. He's number 6 on the Dueling Book ladder as of right now. I'm not sure. He might be higher or lower now. Playing mostly Quick Draw. And then, of course, I want to shout out Julian, of course, who had a lot of ideas. I think the initial idea for this build came from Julian. So, yeah, shout out to those 3 guys. They worked a lot on this. I took their ideas. I made them better, obviously, because, you know, I'm him. But you know what it is. It is what it is. It is what it is. Let's move into the deck. All right, first off, 2 Dandelion. You already know. Mosaic Rare. Best card in the format. This card's obscenely broken. I could tell you a book on how good this card is. 2 Lone Fire Blossom. This card helps you get Dandelion. I think about 60% of the time I use this card, I'm getting Dandelion. It's very rare that I actually get the next card, which is Titanial. Not just because this card is always in my hand, but because it's always in my hand, let's be real. 3 Quick Draw Synchron. I'm sick of this 2 Quick Draw bullshit. We're playing 3 of it. You got to play 3. It's the best card in the deck. I think people don't realize how strong this Quick Draw Synchros are. And I also think people don't realize how good it is to play without using your normal summon. And that's what Quick Draw does. The card's incredibly powerful. And then 3 Debris Dragon. This is the next best thing you could do in this deck. Well, you know, your summon is going to be like summon and then summon. Yeah, you know what it is. Quick Draw, pitch Dandy, normal Debris, make Stardust, make Quick Draw Synchro, and then attack your opponent to death, basically. So this is like your main core. These are your main boys. There's ways to get to these boys. We'll get into that in a second. But yeah, that's the idea of the deck. This is kind of like the other guy package, 2 Cyber Valley. This card's strong. Hold up. You got to see the star foils. Very nice. Yeah, 2 Cyber Valley. That card is really strong, actually. I side it out a lot. I side it out in almost every matchup, at least 1. Sometimes I leave in both, but usually side out 1. If I'm bringing in my sideboard in my control, I leave in both. But the point of this card is it's utilized with the Dandy tokens, and it's utilized with a few of the other combos in the deck. You make Road Warrior in this deck quite a bit. 1 Necrogardener. This is a tech from Anthony, his top 16 deck from the RBET New York. Ooh, shout out RBET New York. Look at that fucking fresh mat. Shout out Yggdrasil, you know. It's a good card. I don't know, not much to say about it. 1 Level Eater. This is a spice. This card actually is crazy. I'm going to go through some combos for you guys with the Level Eater. But this is the stuff that they innovated. And I was like, I'm stealing that shit. It's fucking broken as fuck. This card's incredibly powerful. It's an on-demand Treeborn. Usually you get a lot of use out of it. I'm going to do that Yu-Gi-Oh player shit. There's always one guy in the comments who's like, Yu-Gi-Oh player, try not to fidget with this card's challenge impossible. And yeah, here it is. 1 Card Trooper. All right, Card Trooper's busted. It's a debris target. Make sure that you see your Dandy. It draws a card. Incredibly powerful. And 1 Sangan. This guy's great. He searches most of your deck. So, yeah, pretty good stuff. A lot of deck dev targets you're noticing here, but we'll talk about that later, obviously. Next up, Bosses, 3 Caius. Best monster in Edison format, especially when you summon him for free. And believe me, boys, there's a lot of ways to summon this for free. The number 1 way, Dandelion. You sacrifice Dandelion for Caius. You get, can you even appreciate the Mosaic Rare Dandelion? It looks very cool. Anyway, yeah, sacrifice that, get some tokens, sacrifice a token, that's free, sacrifice Sangan, sacrifice Level Eater. Oh my gosh, bring out Level Eater. Yeah, Caius is great. Play 3. It's the best card against Blackwings, and that's the most popular deck, so play 3. 1 Gores. That card's crazy. All right. Next, engine. We got a few little engines, little guy engines. We got the Lightsworn engine. We got Raiko, Lila, and Jane. 1 of each. You don't need more than 1 of each. Although I have considered playing 2 Raiko and no Jane. But I think the Jane is a concession to Deck Devastation Virus, and the Jane is also a concession to the fact that there's still Hero Beat players at my locals. I like Jane. I think this card's good. I think it's very slept on. It's great against Glads too, which is a pretty popular deck right now. Makes your charge pretty poppin'. And then when you do inevitably get Drill Warrior going, because that's how this deck works, you can pick and choose your poison of what you want to bring back. That's why there's so many 1-ofs in this deck. And then the last engine is the Hero engine. one Stratos, one Alias, and one Evil Guy, Infernal Guy. These are I think the best 3 you can play. There's a lot of other ones I've tried. I've tried just Stratos with like Plasma. I've tried just Stratos with Dasher. I've tried literally just Alias, no other hero. And I think that this is the best. It's not great, but these are easily the worst part of the deck. But Future Fusion is so incredibly powerful, and it wins you so many games that you got to play them. And that's it for the monsters. That's all the monsters in the deck. You guys are probably noticing no Hamster, no Raikou. Yeah, those cards are ass. You don't want to draw multiples. They just kind of clog your hand, and your opponent just makes Stardust and beats your ass. All right, spell card. Speak of the Devil, Future Fusion. This card's broken as fuck. You activate this, and you reveal Elemental Hero Gaia. We got him off to the side for the extra deck. This lets you send an Elemental Hero and an Earth Monster. So usually, you'll send one of those 2 guys, and you'll send Dandelion. And then you get 2 free tokens, just for free. You get a double Foolish, you get 2 free tokens, and then on top of that, you get a guy in 2 turns. You just get this motherfucker for free. So it's like a free, it's like not even Foolish Burial is better than Foolish Burial because it's 2 for 1. It gets you the send and it gets you the guy in 2 turns. It's an incredibly busted card. It's the whole reason that you play, like, it's probably the best single card in Edison format. Not, like, hands down, I think this is the most powerful card. And if you have to play, like, a couple shitter monsters, like Alias, in order to force this card into your deck, it's probably worth doing. All right, Brain Control, card's busted. Space Typhoon, Heavy Storm. You guys know we got to clear the back row, got to clear Royal Oppression, got to clear Bottomless, whatever, Mirror Force. Foolish Burial. This card sucks, but it's, like, good. Like, I don't know how to say it. It's like, it's basically Dandelion, so that's always good. The deck, once you have Dandelion going, is really strong, so you got to play it, even though it's not the best. One Scapegoat. This card, I'm kind of on the fence about. I was playing a 3rd Avarice in this spot, but can we even get the Mosaic foiling? Is that even showing up? I can't even tell. Anyway, yeah, I was playing the 3rd Avarice. I tried Scapegoat out. It works with the Cyber Valleys. It doesn't work with anything else. Well, it does technically work with the tuners. You can flip Scapegoat and Phase, and then quick draw plus 3 of them to make a Road Warrior, and then Road Warrior brings out Cyber Valley, and then banish with the other token to draw 2. So it's like, it's fine. It's a pretty solid card. There's some matchups where this is good. The fact that it's chainable, it's pretty good against Vayu Turbo. It's good against Dragon Turbo. It's good against dragons in general. Just like, it's kind of like a Threatening Roar that has upside because you can synchro with it and convert the token to a Cyber Valley. So that's pretty much it. And then the rest of the spells, 1 Charge. I wish this card came Shatter Foil. It might in Japanese. I haven't checked yet. And then double Avarice. This card doesn't come Shatter Foil. I've checked already. And yeah, I wish there was a laminated foil of this card. This card's busted. I was playing 3, but I kept breaking on it, so I cut 1. That's pretty much it. I mean, there's not much to it. Like, people play 2 or they play 3 of this card, and it's just like, do you want to brick on it? Sometimes, okay, but you have a higher chance of top decking it if you play 3. That's pretty much it. Yeah, and then the last is trap cards. 1 trap does shoot. This card immediately wins the game. If you have it going first, it's pretty broken. 1 trap stun. This is Heavy Storm number 2. This card's actually crazy. I was playing Giant Trinade, and one thing I didn't like about Giant Trinade is, like, this deck, it does this thing with Debris Dragon, where you summon Debris Dragon, and then you make Black Rose, and you blow up the field. Well, Giant Trinade is kind of shitty, because it puts all their traps back in their hand, and then you blow up the field, but then you don't get to blow up all those trap cards that you just swept. So I didn't like it. I didn't like it at all. I liked Trap Stun a lot more. And one thing I like about Trap Stun, too, is, like, Trap Stun can hit chainables, whereas, like, Giant Trinade just procs chainables. Like, if my opponent tries to do, like, Wabaku or something, I can chain Trap Stun and then OTK them. This deck OTKs a lot. You'll see in the replays and stuff. It's just a huge OTK deck. It looks like a quick draw deck, but it's just an OTK deck. And the last 2 is just Solemn Force. These are I think the best 2 standalone traps. You can make an argument for this being torrential, but I think this is a little better. Because oftentimes you'll put up, like, I'll just put up, like, Stardust Guy, and then I just need something to put behind it so that, like, my opponent can't, like, summon and then collude over my guy. I think Mirror Force is probably the best card there. Solemn Judgment, same thing. It's like the best card to set behind a Stardust, and that's what I wanted. I just wanted the 2 best traps to set behind Stardust, and I think these are the 2 best traps to set behind Stardust. That's pretty much it. So, good shit. That's the whole main deck. It's pretty straightforward. I'll tell you some of the combos after I go through the extra deck and the side deck. But yeah, let's do the extra deck first. 1 Gaia. You gotta have him for Future Fusion. 1 Chimera Tech. You gotta have it because it makes machines cry. 1 Junk Warrior. Shout out Gabe. This is a heinous card. I literally am going to destroy this card if Gabe doesn't take it back from me immediately. I hate alt arts with a passion, but he was the only one who would let me borrow a Junk Warrior for the tournament. So, yeah, we got a Junk Warrior. 2 Drill Warrior. This card's broken. A lot of games, I just went Drill Warrior. There's a game I'll show you guys where I just go Drill Warrior and I basically deck my opponent out. This card's insane versus Machina, basically. 1 Turbo Warrior. This card's insane. It won me a game 2 as well. Junk Archer. This card's broken. OTK Enabler. I need to get an Ultra Rare. I don't really like the Secret Rare. It doesn't look as good. 1 Nitro Warrior. This card's gas. It's really strong. It goes to 3,800 when you play a spell, and it kills defense position stuff like Gores really well. 1 Road Warrior. This guy's pretty good. Shout out Gabe. He also let me borrow this guy as well. This guy's pretty good. I'm pretty impressed with this card. I actually really like it. I've made it in a couple of games. It kind of gives you something proactive to do that's not Drill Warrior. In some matchups, like against Blackwings, you want to make your quick draw play matter, but going Drill Warrior is a little bit scary because like they could just set an oppression and then fuck your Drill Warrior. So instead, you go Road Warrior, and then you get your Cyber Valley draws, and then you get your value up front, and you start with like 7 cards usually. I'll show you the combos. Yeah, you just have this extra 3,000 body that they have to deal with, and it's free. It's basically free. So really good card. I think the level leader stuff adds a huge depth to this deck, and it makes the quick draw stuff like much more powerful. So yeah, Dragon Synchros, Iron Chain, Ancient Fairy, Black Rose, Double Stardust, and Red Dragon, and that's pretty much it. Shout out to, I don't remember who I got these from, but the DT Stardust, they look real good. And then you got to have the Shatter Foil guy and the DT Black Rose. One thing I haven't checked is I don't know if the DT Black Rose is really cool. It's like ultra rare. Looks fucking sick. I don't even know if you guys can see all that. But yeah, I don't know if this guy comes in DT. Right now I got the collector's rare. It doesn't look that good. I'm going to be honest. It looks kind of shit. I think the rarity collection stuff is, I liked it at first, and then it doesn't look as good as it did when it first came out, but it still looks pretty good. I just don't like, you'll notice this card is like a darker hue. It looks almost gray and not like the Synchro, like the bright Synchro color. It's like a little bit discolored. I don't really like it. It doesn't match the rest of my cards. Anyway, good shit. Sideboard. That's all straightforward. Sideboard, double Cyber Dragon. This card is good. It's good against Glads. It's also good against Machines. It's okay against Machines. I actually only was bringing in 1 against Machines. I don't think you need more than 1. 1 Kaiku, the Ghost Destroyer. Unless it's like gadgets or something. This guy's really good. He's good against Lightsworns. I might put a second one in him because he's really good. 1 DD Crow. I don't know what this is for. Zombies, I guess. 1 Mind Control. This card's important in this deck. It works with Cyber Valley. It works with all your tuners. Takes Rykos. I think this is one of the best cards in the format. And I wouldn't play a tournament without it somewhere in my deck, probably. Soul Release. I love this card. I don't know. It didn't do anything for me, but it's just a cool card. Double Book of Moon. Gotta have it. This is for Dyna and Vanities. So you'll go like Drill Warrior against Frogs, and then they'll like summon a Vanities, and they'll be like, all right, draw step, book your Vanities, bring back Drill, kill you. Like this is for Frogs, basically. But it's also good against like Christia and shit, so here and there. And then trap cards. All trap cards is left in the side. What else? This is like the cards that come in the most. 2 more trap stuns. So yeah, just if your opponent's trying to play set 5 against you, or even just set 1 against you, this is like the best card. Because you like force them to activate it, and then you chain this, and then you shut off their whole back row, and you get the +1. It's like Dust Tornado, but it shuts off more than 1 card. Speaking of which, Dust Tornado, this is like my 4th trap stun. This card sucks. I actually think Dust Tornado is garbage. The more I play with trap stun, the more I'm like, I don't want to play Dust Tornado, because trap stun is just Heavy Storm. It clears multiple back row, it hits chainables, it does it all. The only thing Dust Tornado does that this doesn't is this hits Black Whirlwind, but I don't even care about Black Whirlwind because my deck like just pops shit like crazy with like Caius or Black Rose or whatever. 1 Compulsory, I don't know what this is here for, honestly. The Compulse and the Dust were just like, I don't know what to put on my side. Double Bottomless Trenchel, these are important, these are for Blackwings. Yeah, pretty important cards. Summon Stops, just cut off their summon and go from there. Trenchel is really good against Frogs. Actually, all these are good against Frogs too, so. Yeah, I side these in going first, and then in some matchups like Blackwings, I just side them in both going first and second. So, yeah, pretty good stuff. Straightforward sideboard. It's like just all like generic shit that you can swap in for some of the cute stuff. Let me show you guys some of the combos. All right, the first combo I want to show you guys is Quick Draw plus Level Leader plus a Level 3. And this could be done with any Level 3, but let's just say it's Sanguine. So, you use Quick Draw, you pitch Level Eater. Wow, super crazy. Level Eater comes back, you eat a level, you normal summon your level 3. Okay, this is your board. That's pretty good. You now have 2 non-tuners, which will allow you to make Road Warrior. A lot of people who will copy this deck will fucking cheat and try to make this with 1 non-tuner. You can't do that. You have to use 2 non-tuner monsters to make this card. Otherwise, it'd be broken as fuck, honestly. So you synchro, you make Road Warrior, and then Sangan gets you a search. So you have 3 other cards in hand, and then you have a Sangan search. So that's 4 cards in hand. And then Road Warrior will special summon the Cyber Valley from your deck, and then you can now, from this point, level eat, and then Cyber Valley can target the level eater, and then you can draw 2 new cards, and you'll have a 6-card hand with a Road Warrior, which is pretty good. Turn 1. In Edison format, that's pretty strong. What can I say? All right, different combo. You can do that with Lone Fire as well. Lone Fire get Dandy, and you can do that with Lone Fire get Titanial and make Titanial Drill. Just level eat the Titanial. There's a bunch of different ways you can utilize Level Eater. That's pretty cool. This is the next combo that I really like. Use Quick Draw. You pitch Level Eater. Special Quick Draw. Level Eat the Quick Draw. Sacrifice the Level Eater for Caius. Target one of your opponent's cards. Banish it. Maybe deal them 1,000. Level Eat the Caius. Synchro into Junk Guy. I don't even want to show him. He's so ugly. Ugh, gross. Making me sick. Bring back the level eat again. 3 cards for 3 cards, and you got to banish. So it's a +1 combo. And if you banish a dark monster, you're dealing what? 6,300 damage. Pretty good stuff. Like I said, this is an OTK deck. You just burst people out of nowhere. Oh, you have a dark monster in play? I'll flip my trap stun, deal 6,300, and banish your only guy. Now what? Now deal with my board or lose. And you have to deal with 2 like pretty large monsters or you die. And then on top of that, if they can only kill 1, you can like keep using the level eater for shit as well. So that's really cool. That's it for the deck profile. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Let's get into the testing matches and tournament matches. All right, boys, match testing. You know how it goes. Before you take a deck to a tournament, you got to test it against people online or in person or whatever. I built the deck online first, and then I built it in paper and ran a bunch of test games beforehand. I don't have the paper test games, but I do have the online test games recorded for you guys, so we'll get into some of them. Some of the list might be a little bit different, but the general concept is still the same, so that's the idea. This is the first kind of test match that I did with the deck, just as a proof of concept. And you can see we win the rock, paper, scissors, and we open up pretty strong. So in a lot of cases, you might want to wait to go for all of this. Like if you have Heavy Storm or if you have Trap Stun specifically, you might want to wait before just like blowing your whole hand. But because we have Mystical Space Typhoon, the one real punish for us going for like Drill Warrior Stardust turn 1 is Royal Oppression. And Space Typhoon answers Royal Oppression on the chain, even in the standby phase. So yeah, I'll show you here in a second, but basically when you go Quick Draw Dandy and you get 2 tokens, and then you make Drill, and then you make Stardust, and then, yeah, you know the vibes. Anyway, we get 2 tokens, pitch the Level Eater. Pretty much about as good as it's going to get. We could have made the Road Warrior combo, but I figured Drill is better in the dark when you have Space Typhoon to out Royal Oppression and Solemn Judgment to back up the Stardust. There was a lot of different lines we had here, but I think this is just like the most basic one. Anyway, yeah, so basically Stardust says it can only negate cards that destroy a card on the field. And because Royal Oppression would not be destroying a card on the field, we couldn't negate it if he wanted to Royal Oppression our Drill Warrior effect, so we'd be down pretty bad to a Royal Oppression here. That's not really where we want to be, but because we have Space Typhoon, I'm really comfortable going for this whole thing turn 1. So yeah, just bring it back, set, pass. He comes summon Card Trooper, mill 3, and so it's going to be looks like a Lightsworn deck. Lightsworn's a pretty bad matchup for Quick Draw, generally speaking, but since our deck is so aggressive and plays maximum numbers of like our payoff cards, I think the matchup's closer than it usually is. So good to test against a pretty bad matchup early on. Anyway, Joe comes back, we rip Lone Fire, so the deck is just like incredibly busted. Just summon Lone Fire, sack, get Lone Fire, sack, get Titanial, and I think we just have game, right? Yeah, that's just game. Yeah, so yeah, pretty easy game 1. I mean, we opened the nuts, so proof of concept, the deck does work. Second game, we open up with Stratos Karma Cut. I was siding Karma Cut at first. I ended up switching it for the Torrential later on. You'll see, because the discard is just like, you can't really support it that well. And there are other cards that I had in the deck when I was testing, like 1-for-1, which I know a lot of people are going to ask about. Like, oh, you have Cyber Value, you have Level Leader. Why don't you play 1-for-1? It's just because the discard kind of hurts. Like, you don't really have a lot of great discards. The only one is Dandy, and you're usually saving that to discard to Quick Draw. Like, there's literally not that many good discards to 1-for-1 or Karma Cut. So I ended up cutting this for Torrential. Just imagine that's a Torrential in its spot. Anyway, opponent goes for charge. Mill 3, grabs Lumina. Solar Recharge, blah, 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 blah. Just opens the nuts. Like, this is like, we're probably losing this game straight up just because this is the Lightshorn dream, right? You start with all the names. You got JD coming. You got Lumina Gareth. You've drawn cards off Gareth. It doesn't get better than that. We draw another Quick Draw. Not great, but we've got Sangan, Crash with Lumina, go find Dandy. And this can at least get us to Quick Draw Dandy, which is like pretty strong. So even if you had Honest there, we could still get to Quick Draw Dandy, and we're only taking 1,000, which isn't bad. Just imagine this Karma Cut as a Torrential, though. It would be a lot better here, obviously. So, pitch, banish the Drill. He summons Honest, so he shows us that he did have the Honest, which is rough. We're going to be able to drop Gores, but I don't know. Maybe I should have held it to discard the Karma Cut. I'm not really sure. Especially because JD is coming next turn. He's going to Crow the Dandy. We're going to add back Sangan. We're going to summon Stratos. I was still playing Dasher at this point instead of Evil Guy Alias, but we moved towards Evil Guy Alias later on because it's just better. And I was also siding the Mind Control in versus Lightshorns because, yeah, they play Raikou and stuff. Just Mind Control the Gareth, and that's going to be an OTK. So, like I said in the deck profile, this deck is very much an OTK deck. You just set up huge monsters really, really fast, and then you can deal 8,000 pretty easily. Or enough damage here to where he can't even activate JD, and he'll probably lose because the Drill will eventually close things out. So pretty good proof of concept. We were able to play through a DD Crow. We were able to play through a Nut Start from Lightshorns. We didn't even use the cards that obviously we switched up later. So yeah, ignore them basically. All right, next testing game is versus Stuart is me. Versus Stuart, we also win the rock paper scissors. Generally speaking, I like to get a good mix of like going first and going second when testing a deck, but you know, you'll see later on we get some going second as well. Future Fusion in the opening hand, so already proving its worth. We're going to send Dandelion Stratos, get 2 tokens. We're going to summon the Cyber Valley, draw 2 new cards. We're going to draw into 2 Caius. So, yeah, I mean, the deck looks great when it does this, right? When it just starts with 7 cards and a Gaia is coming soon, and we got Dust Shoot, Future Fusion. Like, it just looks good, right? Like, if you could stack these cards every game, it would look insane. Dust Shoot the opponent. We're going to seize on Amaryllis. He's also playing a heavier burn package with Magic Cylinder, and he is playing Bottomless in the main. 44 cards. Interesting choices, but he does have trade in 8-star, so he can get somewhere with this. Put back the Amaryllis because it's a better trade in pitch than Titanial. He goes for that, and he draws into the same exact cards, which is kind of funny. I was like, whoa. Anyway, he rips Jar and the 3rd Titanial, so pretty unlucky for him. But Jar can get him out of some tight spots. He sets 2 here. We draw Heavy Storm, which is nice. I feel pretty confident just Caiusing the monster. This is where the deck gets really aggressive, like when you can just start chaining Caiuses, and this is why I think you should absolutely play 3 Caius. This is probably the best Caius deck in the entire format. It's even better than Frogs in my opinion, like just because free Caius off a Dandy token and then like being able to quick draw as well in the same turn, or like special summon something else as well in the same turn is like, it's crazy. Like let's say you have Drill comes back and then you sack for Caius, and then it's like, that's so much pressure, you know? And the Drill adds back a quick draw, and then you make a Nitro and you just OTK people. It's just a crazy Caius deck. So yeah, hit the set monster, chain Bottomless, so easy 2-for-1 for me. I'm just up so many cards here. I'm getting Gaia next turn. He's got Dandy set. We draw, we get Gaia. Normal card, Trooper Mill 3, and this is where the Level Leader starts to do some crazy work. Level Leader comes back, and Level Leader's attack stat here is actually pretty useful. It can attack over things like Raikou to make sure that we'll get like some damage in, even if he pops the Gaia. So that's really nice. I've loved that this card can run over Card Trooper as well. That comes up sometimes. And I also really like that this card obviously just attacks into sets nicely. So yeah, really useful card. It eats the Gaia. It's just repeatable tribute fodder. Next turn we can sack it for Caius if it doesn't go anywhere, which it most likely won't. Kill both tokens. I think he Magic Cylinders me here. Yeah, we take 22. And then we just pass. No reason to set the Scapegoat, because if we set the Scapegoat, we can't even activate it if he Heavy Storms me. So yeah, just pass. Plus, we might want to Heavy Storm ourselves in the future. He Hidden Armories, he grabs Mark of the Rose. That can banish his monster and take one of my monsters. Probably going to take the Gaia here. Makes the most sense. He attacks the Card Trooper. I could Mirror Force, if I predict him having the third Titanial, oh my gosh, someone is leaf blowing right outside my window. Anyway, but, yeah, he just sets one. He can't normal summon anyway because of the hidden armory. Dude, it is right outside. Of course. Of course. Of course. Right as I'm trying to record, of course. Every time. Every time. Every time this happens. I'm just kidding. It was perfect timing, right? Anyway, it doesn't matter. I mean, this game's over. I don't even need to say more about this game. Just sack for Caius, target the back row, chain bottomless, level eat the Gaia one more time, attack the token, attack for 2200. I could even... Oh no, I don't have another monster to pitch the quick draw, but at this point, I'm just like going through the motions. You know, there's no way we lose this game. Even though we're at 4,000, there's no shot we're getting burned out from this point because we can put together like a junk archer to banish an Amaryllis and just go for game. Normal debris, bring back Dandy, Synchron to Stardust, get 2 tokens, level eat, come out, activate Avarice, hope to rip a monster so we can just game shot with the quick draw. Yeah. Draw 2, there's some monsters, pitch special, make Nitro Warrior, and that's going to be lethal. So, Level Eater being the lethal points of damage here is really nice. You saw the value the card gets. This kind of shows off the potential of it. So, pretty good stuff. Moving into game 2, we've opened up okay. We got Dust Shoot, we got Cyber Valley, Dandy, Lone Fire, so it's like not bad. But going second Dust Shoot is obviously not as good as going first. Foolish as Amaryllis, M-Phase brings it out. Pretty solid start. Sangan here is nice because it'll get us to quick draw. So I think I'm going to go with Sangan. We just want to get to quick draw drill as soon as possible in this matchup because that's like best boy. He draws off Card Trooper. We're going to be able to see that with the Dust Shoot. So 2 games Dust Shoot pretty broken. Can't lie. We look at the hand. He's got Lila. He's got the Phoenixian Cluster Amaryllis. And you just take Lila here. I mean, like, the Amaryllis isn't doing anything in hand. Once again, he's got that Magic Cylinder. This card is good for closing out games, but I think in this sort of, like, circumstance where, you know, you're trying to play, like, this resource game and you're not attacking or dealing damage very efficiently or very effectively, it's not the best. So I like this card when you can apply pressure a little bit better. So I do like this card when you're playing, like, Drill Warrior, actually, or, like, Quick Draw with this deck. And less so when you're playing like kind of a Lightning Vortex style. I think the Lightning Vortex is like more of a grind game thing, and Magic Cylinder is like, I don't know how to say it, but yeah. Anyway, Sangan dies. We're gonna go ahead and search quick draw, and then yeah, we're pretty much fucking set the fuck up here. So what does he got in the back row? Oh yeah, return Magic Cylinder, whatever. Just quick draw time. Pitch, make Dandy, tokens, Synchron to drill, summon Stratos. Search Dasher. I was still playing Dasher at this point, by the way. I switch over later because I figured that drawing Stratos means Future Fusion is dead when you only play Dasher. But when you play Alias plus Evil Guy, drawing Stratos means that Future Fusion isn't dead, or drawing Alias means that Future Fusion isn't dead. And I think that that's just better. That was advice that Swifty gave, and I think that that's pretty good advice. He has a lot of experience with that stuff, so yeah, took that suggestion from him. Pitch banish the drill. He's going to vortex some cards, but it doesn't really matter. M-Phase bring out Amaryllis. We've got Drill Warrior, get back Dandy, banish, pitch Dandy, tokens, summon Lone Fire, sack, go get Titanial. Oh my god, it's happening again, folks. It's happening again. It's happening again. It's happening again. No, I'm just kidding. Anyway, this pretty much beats the Magic Cylinder allegations, because negates targeting. It also stops this potential Mark of the Rose, stops this Gale shit, so yeah. Normal Gale, return. Things get a little dicey here. He can crash, he can run over, he can have my Lone Fire, but he decides to crash the Dandelion. I think this is probably a worse play from him. He could have done something a little bit better where he went Yugioh Guardian, get 2 tokens, steal a Lone Fire Blossom, sack his Titanial that was going to die to get another Lone Fire, sack a token to go get another Titanial. I think that would have been a lot better for him than this play here where he ends on Catastor. None of it really matters though because I have Black Rose Dragon. So it doesn't really matter what he makes just because I'm going to Black Rose Dragon him. He's going to Synchro and he's going to burn his Mark of the Rose. I think this was an inefficient use of his resources. He could have ended with still the Mark of the Rose in hand and a lot of other resources, but if he had just made Yugioh Guardian instead of this Catastor. But this doesn't, it just doesn't matter. You know, pitch, get tokens. I think I heavy storm. No, I don't even heavy storm because he didn't stop any of my normal summons before, so he's probably not stopping this Black Rose. Yeah, so just go for that. Dandy tokens, blah, 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 blah. If you don't know how this works, Black Rose is Chainlink 2, Dandy's Chainlink 1 in Edison format. That's how it works. Main phase 1 still, pitch special quick draw, and then attack with Nitro. And yeah, quick draw is just nuts, dude. It just means you can just go for game after blowing up the field. It's so broken. I actually think this card is crazy. Super, super broken. I don't know why people play less than 3. Like, it's... I get it, right? Like, you don't want to draw, like... I don't know. I don't get it. Honestly, it's just an insane card. Alright, next testing match. So that was versus Amaryllis. We tested versus Lightsworn, tested versus Amaryllis. The deck seems pretty strong. How is it going to do against Black Wings? And that's the real question, right? Because that's the tough matchup. So I hit up Abadrava from the Discord, and I was like, yo, can you help me test versus Black Wings? And he was like, sure thing. We're going second, and we open Titanial. So this is kind of like Bane of the deck's existence. However, this is closer to the list that... This might be the exact list that I played in the tournament, or give or take one card. Start with Jane just to try and bait some back row, and it goes through. So I'm going to try the Future Fusion, and that's also going to go through. So back row, not really sure about it, but thinking maybe Icarus attack, something like that. End phase, we're going to mill 2 as well. We get 2 tokens. I can even go for my quick draw here, which I decided not to do because, I don't know, I didn't want to play too much into oppression. I could have pitched the Titanial and special quick draw. He might have had Torrential too. I was a little bit worried about Torrential. Who knows? He could have Torrential us on the tokens though. This was a tough one. I figured that his back row was Icarus though. So like if I pitch Titanial and I make Drill, I have to pitch either Gorge or Avarice, and then he just Icaruses my Drill when it comes back. And that's not very good. Like that's just like a large commitment of resources. I'd rather force him to Icarus the Jane in the Future Fusion first. Anyway, he has Blizzard, bring back Value, so confirming the Icarus suspicions, and just passes. I'm just going to sack 2 for Titanial in main phase. This is going to be able to beat Icarus or play through Icarus. He's going to go for Icarus. I'm just going to negate it. I'll Pot of Avarice here and leave the Dandelion so that my Debris Dragon has something to target. So pretty back and forth game so far. He started a little Monster Light. I started with Titanial, Avarice, but we have Future Fusion, which is a broken card, so kind of getting hard carried by the fact that our deck just has more Dandelion access than an average quick draw deck. Yeah, Jargreed gets flipped, so makes sense. Normal summon Shura. This is going to be tough. Special Gale. This is going to be real tough. We don't have a great way of coming back here. We do have Black Rose, but he can put us so low that just a follow-up play, Dark Arm, something like that could be really bad for us. So main phase 2 is going to make an Armor Master, and he's going to special Dark Arm and pop the Future Fusion. I'm like, jeez. He could have done this main phase 1, but he played around Gorge by doing it main phase 2, which isn't bad. It dealt us more damage overall. Sets 2 back row. Normal Debris. That's going to work. And Black Rose is actually going to resolve. So pretty crazy. We're able to pull back a little bit here. Get some tokens. Blow up the Dark Arms. Pitch Dandy special quick draw. Get 2 more tokens. Synchro here into Road Warrior because I want to draw into a trap card if possible. We don't play that mini game 1, but you know, it'd be nice too. And I also want to get the tokens out of play in case he has like Blizzard Kalute, because that'll kill us. He'll go Armed Wing and then attack and then Kalute over the token. So yeah, battle phase, attack for 3k. Hopefully he didn't top that Gorse. He draws Return, nothing. We draw Evil Guy, pretty tough. Pitch special quick draw, Synchro into Junk Archer, attack for 23. He did top deck Gorse, and I'm like, jeez, dude, come on, give me a fucking break. And it's also unlucky we drew the Cyber Valley. We would have been able to special that with Road Warrior, but yeah, we drew the second Cyber Valley. Run over the Gorse, banish the token with Junk Archer. That's why I made Junk Archer to play through a possible top deck Gorse. Pass the turn. He sets, passes to us. We're going to Junk Archer, and he drew Icarus attack, so he's able to Icarus our guy. I'm in a normal Cyber Valley just to float. He finds Sirocco off the top, so punishing us for having Cyber Valley. We draw into Alias, can't kill the Sirocco, draw Sangan, have to set it because if he draws a monster, he can pump kill us through Gorse. Just all bad news. Vayu activates now, brings out the Silverwind, attacks Sangan. Sangan searches Lone Fire. Silverwind attacks directly. He played around Gorse earlier, he isn't doing it now, so I don't know why he didn't play around it now. He sets a back row. We draw for turn as Mirror Force. And we could play this passively. We could set Mirror Force, set Judgment, but then he like pumps and switches one of his guys and then attacks, and then we're forced to Mirror Force just Sirocco, which I don't love. So I'm just going to go with the Lila target, and he's got Bottomless. I'm like, okay, cool. I can sort of beat over these two monsters and then hopefully stabilize with my back row. Sets that pass. He sets normal Lone Fire, go get Titanial, attack, and yeah, we win. So really close game, even though we were up cards the whole time. As you can see, converting that win is really important. A lot of people are going to ask like how you sideboard in this matchup. So for me, what I like to do, I know a lot of people side differently than this, but I actually think Quick Draw is the best card in this matchup. I think that the worst cards in this matchup are kind of your slower cards that get stuck in your hand and don't let you convert to a win when you have the tempo advantage. So I actually like to keep in all three Quick Draw. I know a lot of people don't do this, but I'm a big fan of doing this, and you'll see why I like doing this in basically all of my matches against Blackwings. There's a lot in this video, so yeah, I like keeping them in because if your opponent doesn't have deck dev turn one, right, then the best thing you can do is just play your hand and get the synchro monsters into play, and then when they draw that deck dev later on, it's dead because you've already made your plays. And Quick Draw is the best way to make two plays and get your hand emptied and get everything going, right? And then Quick Draw is also a way you can accelerate to the best card in your deck in the matchup, which is Caius. I think Quick Draw and Caius are like your two best cards. Dandelion's got to stay in. Debris Dragon's got to stay in. I like to side out the Cyber Valleys in some capacity. Going first, I side out Card Trooper. Going second, I leave it in. Sometimes I side out Level Eater. I side out Sangan pretty much always. Sometimes I side out the Evil Hero Inferno Prodigy. I always side out Dust Shoe. I always side out Scapegoat. So those two cards come out for sure. Scapegoat is just useless against this matchup. They just pierce over it. It's a mulligan. You never want to activate it. It also plays into Oppression, which is not good. Dust Shoot becomes dead because, like you saw in that last game, they empty their hand really quick. So it's just very dead. So I like to cut those. Sometimes I'll side out the Raikou as well. So like I like to side out the passive cards that stick in your hand, kind of like Inferno Prodigy, Raikou, Card Trooper, Sangan, cards that feed Shura, Level Eater to some degree. Sometimes I like to keep Level Eater in though if I really have the idea of aggressive start. And then the cards I side in double Trapstone, double Bottomless, Torrential. And you just try to tempo them out and kill them over 1 or 2 turns with big pushes. So you want to go for like sweepers like Trapstone or Heavy Storm. And then you want to go for Haymakers, which is Quick Draw Dandy or Debris Dandy or Caius. And that's like my general game plan versus Blackwings is sweepers plus Haymakers. I think it's one of the most consistent ways to approach the matchup. Anyway, where were we? Oh, here, yeah. So we side in on our stuffs, right? Side in our stuffs. And as you can see, I did leave in the Raikou here. Not really sure if I should or not yet, but it's probably fine. I set pass. So we've got our sweeper. We just don't have our Haymaker yet. Oh, we kind of do. It's Gores, but Avarice is a great card here because we have 2 Millers, so that's pretty good. He attacks with Shura. Keep it simple. Just blow up the Shura. No reason to let him get to Vayu. Vayu's really good in this matchup because a lot of times you'll be forced to Black Rose. And then when you Black Rose, Vayu's their best follow-up. So, yeah, you generally speaking don't want to let him get to Vayu if you can avoid it. Blow up the Shura, mill 3, and we hit Dandelion, which is pretty good. I mean, it's like pretty good. It's not ideal because I kind of wanted to like set up for this Gores to be active, but I'll never complain milling a Dandelion, right? It's like still really good. We ripped Debris Dragon, which is insane. I'm going to normal that. He's going to go Royal Oppression. I'm going to flip Trapstone. He's going to change Jar of Greed. We're going to bring out Dandelion. I'm actually going to take this as an opportunity to Black Rose away his 2 back row. We don't have a great way of dealing with these 2 cards. I wanted to clear the Royal Oppression. Getting 2 tokens isn't that bad. And it allows us to Pot of Avarice right now and possibly find a Bottomless or a Torrential. Because like I said, I sided in those and we got Mirror Force. We got that sort of stuff. We don't find that, but we do find Quick Draw. We find Extension. So I'm going to pitch Lila, special Quick Draw. Attack with Drill Warrior. Get in damage very nicely. Pitch Alias, pass. And now we're actually kind of crushing. He's out of Royal Oppression. So he'll need to find a very specific out to this Drill Warrior. Which would be a 2nd Royal Oppression. He special Cyber Dragon attacks, sets 2 passes. Drill comes back. Drill's going to add back Lila. In this matchup, or the first match against Blackwings, I did leave in the Level Eater. I think later on, I had been siding it out. I'm not sure, though, still, if that's correct or not. Pitch Level Eater to banish something. Lila, try to target a back row, and he chains skill drain. So pretty interesting. Pretty interesting, can't lie. He attacks over the Lila. We're going to take 400. Sets, passes. Drill Warrior's coming back. We draw another Trap Stun. And you can see why this card is so insane in this matchup. It lets you play through Floodgates plus back row. It's basically just Heavy Storm, but better in a lot of cases. Bring out the Level Eater. Just pass after setting the... We don't need to play into like a Deep Prison or anything. He sets a new back row, passes. We draw Future Fusion, which is really good. I decide to attack because if he has a Battle Trap, he'll flip it. And then I'll be able to flip my Trap Stun. And then main phase 2, I'll be able to Lila pop the skill drain. So we'll get 2 for 1 use out of my Trap Stun here. But he actually just has nothing. And Drill Warrior just kills him. So main phase 2, Future Fusion. He lets that resolve, send Dandy, get more tokens, and pass. Next turn, even if he outs my drill with like Icarus or something, I can tribute summon Gores and start pressuring him that way with Trap Stun back up. He goes Legacy. No need to chain the Trap Stun there because, once again, that's just stupid. It's like 1 for 1 on a card that isn't even confirmed to be good. Sets, passes. We draw Lone Fire, which is great. Lone Fire works under Skill Drain as long as you sacrifice itself. And Titanium also works under Skill Drain as long as you sacrifice itself. I attack into the set monster. He goes Mirror Force, and I'm like, oh, this is perfect. I've got Trap Stun, right? But he has Solemn, so... Yeah, the 1 of out to Trap Stun is tough. There's only one card in their entire deck that counters it, and it's Solemn Judgment. And he does have it, so I'm like, all right, that's tough. But we've got Pot of Avarice. We've still got Game. We're getting Gaia next turn. We've got Lila here, which if we draw an out to the skill drain, we can do something with. He shuffles. We get Gaia, which is pretty good. We've got Lila. I'm going to go ahead and target a random back row. Chain Typhoon, target the skill drain. And we're going to pop a deck dev, which is nice. Just run over his set monster. Attack directly with Level Eater. And this was my biggest mistake. I should have attacked with Level Eater first. I don't think there's really any difference between him being at 1750 versus him being at 1150. So I should have attacked with Level Eater first, because if it is something like Vayu or, I don't know. Vayu is the only thing that this can attack over. But if it is Vayu, then I win the game. So, yeah, I should have attacked with Level Eater first. That was a big misplay. I keep forgetting that this guy has actual attack points and shit. It also would have attacked over a set Gale, which is exactly what he had. So, yeah, pretty stupid. End phase mill 3. He's going to go ahead and Whirlwind summon Sirocco, which is really good. But I think we're still okay. It's tough to find the last 1150, though. I think my attacking order was just really silly that game. He kills the Gaia. He passes back to us. We draw Charge. Going to activate Quick Draw to get Necrogarden in the grave. Synchro here into Drill Warrior. Activate Level Eater to Level Eat the Drill. Drill effect to have. And then try to attack directly for game. And he's got Icarus, so pretty annoying. I'm not going to lie. Main phase 2, I got a Charge. Mill 3, get Raikou. He could have Icarused us last turn with the Gale on the Gaia and the Level Eater. And that would have prevented us from going for game. But had we attacked with the Level Eater, it would have forced him to do that. So that's obviously why it was better to attack with the Level Eater. Set the Raikou because we haven't normaled yet. And we do have the Necrogarden. So if he only has a normal summon here, there's a chance we can win. But it's unlikely. He goes Summon Shura, search Kalut. And now things are looking kind of tough. And he has Dark Arms, so I'm like, dude, of course. They always have it. Halfway into his deck, it's bound to happen. Got to negate the Shura attack. Main phase 2 is going to pop the token. Draw for turn is Alias. Alias kill the Shura. We're still in this somehow, but not really. He's going to pop Alias. Attack for 17. I'm forced to drop Gores. He just colludes for game, so... Really unfortunate one. I think if I had just not misplayed, I would have been fine with the Level Eater attack. So it's good to pay attention to when games are lost due to your own misplays. And he also had a crazy series of top decks that got him out of a bad situation. So whatever. This opening hand is pretty bad. We have both elemental heroes. These cards are not that great, but you'll see I left him one Cyber Valley. After this game, I make the decision to start siding out both, I think. I summon Stratos, search Guy, and I set Solemn in case he has Whirlwind Sirocco specifically. He's got Cyber Dragon. I think that's fine because I can make Chimera Tech off of it. He sets 2 and passes. He does shoots me. I Solemn it because I need to be able to make Chimera Tech, but my hand is not good. I set Cyber Valley. I contact. Thankfully for us, I think his hand is pretty monster light as well. Attack for 2k, and he's got Fiendish Chain. Crazy fucking tech. We saw Trunade in the replay earlier. I haven't seen it thus far, but Fiendish Chain with Trunade is something that some players play. So, yeah. We draw into Titanial, so really bad hand. Really, really bad hand. Set. Hopefully the Dandy can get us there. Normal Bora, pierce us. Life total getting dangerously low. We get 2 tokens. Draw for turn is going to be... Oh, he soul releases us too. So we don't even have a grave. We don't even have Debris Dragon to get back in this one. Set back row. We draw Future Fusion. Oh my god. Drawing Future Fusion after all 3 heroes and Titanial is like... This was very unlucky, by the way. This doesn't happen that frequently. But double sack for Titanial is placed through Icarus. It's going to target both. I'll just negate. Tribute the token. Attack for 28. Pass the turn. Keeping the Future Fusion in hand instead of setting it as a bluff because A, we could draw Gores, and B, we could pitch it to Drill Warrior later on. Or C, we could Avarice back Alias and turn on the Future Fusion. So, draw Dust Tornado, which I had been siding in against Black Wings, and I think it's okay. Attack for 19, attack for 28. Drops to 500, set the Dust Tornado. I think at this point, the only difference in my build that I had was I had 2 Dust Tornadoes, 2 Trap Stuns. I think after these testing matches, I moved towards 3 Trap Stun, 1 Dust Tornado, because I think Trap Stun's just better. End phase, he Space Typhoon is my Dust Tornado, which I could have negated, but I decided not to, because I think Titanial plays better. Titanial can also negate like Sirocco Pump or Gale or something like that. Here comes Shura. Unfortunately, Shura Kaluta is going to out this, and it's going to get the value, which is really frustrating. Main phase 2 makes Android, gains 600 passes. We draw Lone Fire. Dude, Lone Fire after Titanial, after Future Fusion, after all that. Oh my gosh, so unlucky. But it still gets us to Dandy, so can't complain. Dandelion is still really good. As long as he doesn't find Piercers or Blizzard, then we're okay. So we're both having kind of a not so great draw, but our not so great draw is holding cards a little bit better than his is. Anyway, he attacks the Alias. There goes the Alias. Goodbye. Sets back row passes. We draw Torrential. Really good draw. So first, like, insane draw. First, like, really good draw. I'm going to set the Level Eater, set the Torrential, because, again, like, I just die to a bunch of shit if I go Black Rose, so this is better. He attacks the Dandy. We get 2 tokens. I would very much like to make a Stardust Dragon if possible. So that's another reason why I set the Level Eater this turn. And we draw Avarice, which is great. So finally, we can Avarice back our heroes, or our hero, and then we can Future Fusion. So even despite having, I would say, the worst possible draw, the fact that we're hanging in the worst matchup with the worst possible draw is kind of a testament to why this deck is actually really strong. It's actually really resilient and can play through a lot of stuff. So at this point, I'm feeling pretty confident about the deck. I mean, I think it's pretty strong. I summoned a Redragon. He's got Crow for Lone Fire, which sucks, but I do have Level Eater, so I can Synchro into the Iron Chain, but he's got Solemn Judgment. Thankfully for us, it's going to drop him kind of low on life total, which is nice. We've got Avarice to shuffle back our boys. This can also leave some guys in the grave, Level Eater specifically. I do shuffle back the Dandelion, so I can send it off Future Fusion to get tokens. Not sure if that was correct, but very nice. He says he should have kept Crow and Solemn the Synchro. And that's possibly the case because, yeah, obviously if he had Crowed the Avarice, it would have been a lot better. The Debris Dragon ended up getting 2 cards out of him instead of just 1, which is, yeah, definitely a misplay from him, but that might have altered the game. Probably would have altered the game a little bit. We still had Torrential. We still had Trap Stun. Oh, no, we didn't have Trap Stun yet. Did we have Trap Stun? We might have had Trap Stun. I'm not sure, but we still had Torrential, so we were still in the game, and we were potentially going to draw out of it. Who knows? Who knows, right? Like, okay, Solemn's, if he saves the Crow, Solemn's the Synchro. We bring back Lone Fire. We make Stardust Dragon. He Solemn's that. We still have some leftover bodies. Like, I don't know. Set Trap Stun. Pass. He has Heavy Storm, and I'm like, oh, that's brutal. 3 for 1. We're going to lose it all. Are we dead here? Almost. So Bora's going to put us 350. Oh, fuck. Accidental zoom. Yeah. Thankfully not Blizzard, because that wins the game, but Bora is tough, because that means we have 1 turn to come back into this. I've got Caius, but Caius isn't game. I show him the Caius. I'm like, I'm still in this. I was like, I finally drew Caius. Yeah, 17 cards in, finally seeing Caius is kind of crazy, but Yeah, it is what it is. Draw quick draw, and now it's finally game. So that's why you play 3 quick draw, and that's why you leave him in. Because this card wins the game. It like imagine at any point in this game we had drawn quick draw. Would have been crazy. Would have been so good. It's literally the best card in the deck. Banish Spora, pitch, special, synchro into Turbo Warrior, and that's going to get us the last few points. Then we play a rematch. The rematch is just because I needed more testing against Blackwings. So that was the first match against Blackwings. This is the second match. My opening hand is good, but again, we're going second, so it's like a little tricky, right? Sets, summons, passes, normal card trooper, mill 3, run over. This plays around Icarus and Kalute, Typhoon in the back row, set Mirror Force, pass. He's going to go summon Sirocco, attack. I'm just going to use the Mirror Force now because I don't want to give him an opportunity to use his Icarus attack if he has another one. And I also want to get 1900 damage in if possible. He's going to pass. I'm going to mill 3. I'm kind of predicting a Gorse here, but, you know, fuck it. Go for Titanial. I was hoping to get a little lucky, mill the second Dandy there, but in hindsight, I probably should have Lone Fire first just to get the Titanial out of the deck. That would have been a little bit smarter. Anyway, we hit for 19, hit for 28, and then pass the turn. He doesn't have Gorse, thankfully. If he did, we would have probably just lost this one real quick. But it's kind of scary that he's played nothing. You know, he's played nothing, and what is it? His hand is all monsters. There's no Gorse, there's no back row, there's no anything. It's like kind of scary. Attacks over card trooper. Summon Kalute usually means at least one other Kalute in hand, possibly even 2. You draw a Bree Dragon, he sets back row, passes. Summon Lila, target the back row, and he doesn't chain it. He should have chained it, because Icarus attack, sacrifice Kalute, I'm forced to Titanial negate. It's possible I don't Titanial negate. It's possible I just let it resolve, so I can keep Gorse open and not die to Shura. There's not really much else I want to mill here besides Dandy, possibly Level Eater if I hadn't sided it out. Yeah, I think I might have even let the Icarus attack resolve here, which is crazy. But I attack and then he Kalutes. So if he was going to use the Kalute anyway to out the Titanial, it's better to just chain the Icarus that you're losing for free, and then you go 2 for 1 or 2 for 2 in this instance, and you keep the second Kalute in hand, and you also keep yourself at 3 Darks. He has Dark Armed in hand, so yeah, a little bit of a miss sequence there from the opponent. I think this would have been a much harder game had he just Icarused me. I'm forced to Titanial negate. I pass back. He specials Dad. Like, that's obviously much harder for me, right? We do end up milling the Level Eater, so pretty lucky. He sets back row, passes. I draw Evil Guy. I summon Stratos. I try to search, but I forgot I had milled Alias, so yeah, attack for 18. End phase mill 3. Mill no things. He says Shura one time. And he draws Gorse, Dad, and Trunade. So a little bit unlucky. He had set a card, and then he ripped Gorse when he was at 1300. So turn behind on finding the right Gorse. But I think what's really interesting here is that turn with the Dark Armed. I think we still would have won just because we're at such a high life total, and I've got Black Rose online. So I think even if he is able to do all that, we still have Black Rose, and then we still like have the good stuff later. But it really alters the course of the game, right? It alters the course. It alters, like, you know, potentially what could have happened. So I think we still would have won this game 1, regardless of if he had not made that misplay. But it would have been a different game, and that's for sure, obviously, right? Game 2, we're going second, which is tough. Thankfully, we've been able to dodge Whirlwind thus far, and the hand is actually pretty good. I draw a charge, so I'm going to charge first for Lila. Lila pop the back row, and keep it simple. It could be a draw trap. Turns out it's Fiendish Chain, so pretty fine with that. Keeps the Lila in attack position, which is nice. That means he can't just Bora over it. A Foolish Burial here, I forget what I send. Oh, I send Necrogarna to defend myself from Shura, which is pretty smart, and deal 3,800 with Nitro Warrior. I don't know if going for Nitro Warrior was correct, but I figured if I can get 3,800 damage here, then the Caius is 3,400. There's a good chance I can just win this game off damage. It's very risky, but then he sets fucking back row, man, and I'm just like, bro, set monster, pass, and I'm like, does he have Mirror for, like, what does he have? You know what I mean? I sack for Caius, target the monster. I predict Mirror Force. I figured if he had Icarus, it would have been set turn 1, but he has Icarus, and I'm just like playing like ass. Pot of Avarice, everything back, try and draw into something to keep me in this game. This is a tough one. I think I played this one bad. I think I was like getting impatient. That's the problem with this deck. It's an OTK deck, but you can't get impatient. That's pretty much it. Blizzard summons. Oh, it's so over. It's so fucking over. I drop Gores, but it doesn't even matter. It doesn't even matter that I have Gores because he has Mirror Force too. He had both. He just had both. He didn't even have to Icarus me. He just had Mirror Force. I was just like, bro, come on. Future Fusion reveal Gaia. There's Dark Bribe. Lone Fire activate. He has Royal Oppression. I was just like, I'm over this one. I'm over this one. Thankfully, though, he can't synchro. The reason he bribed the Future Fusion because he didn't want to flip Royal Oppression before he synchroed, but we forced it. So, yeah, it makes sense. Sets back row. We draw Torrential, which is good. Attack over the Blackwing Blizzard. Set Torrential, and then Torrential the monsters and pass. Quick draw, debris, blah, 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 blah. Normal summon, no effect. Had I done this the turn prior, I might have been able to win this one. But unfortunately, he has Brain Control with a conversion, which is just really annoying. We got Bottomless. I just need to draw a monster to kill him. I don't draw a monster. Pass the turn back. Bro. Special Bora. Necrogarna, the Shura attack that we foolish earlier. I just needed to draw something to get there that one turn, and I missed on it. I think there's a game 3 here, which we do lose as well. Yeah, it's tough. It's tough. It's tough out here. Make Titanial, set 3, and the reason we lose this one is he goes Special, Cyber Dragon, Normal Blizzard. I got greedy not bottomlessing the Cyber Dragon, but you live and you learn. If I just bottomless the Cyber Dragon, I think there's a very low chance that I lose this game. Even if he has a way to get over this, which he doesn't. So, would have been nice, you know, to just bottomless the Cyber Dragon there and stop this Black Rose. And then we have Typhoon, Dust Tornado for his 2 back row, and then we're able to like really play the game. Food for thought. Not food for thought, but lesson learned. Bottomless the Cyber Dragon against Blackwings because they could summon Blizzard and blow up the field. So that's going to be it for the testing games. I actually played more matches with this deck on stream, I think 2 days ago. So if you want to check out that VOD, it's up in live. There's even more matches against Amaryllis, other meta decks there as well. And there's like some other stuff, some explanations on the deck there as well, more in-depth stuff. But let's go ahead and get into the tournament matches because I'm feeling pretty confident. I think the deck looks great, and that's going to be that. The real sauce, the tournament matches. This is what everyone is skipping to in the video. Oh my gosh. But before we get into the tournament matches, I do have to tell you guys about an actual tournament that I am throwing this weekend. I don't know if this is cropped right or whatever. Let me see if this, make sure this is not cropped right. Oh, the QR code is a little bit cropped wrong and the logos are cropped wrong. But I'm throwing a tournament this Sunday, October 13th at Night and Day Games at in Las Vegas. Which is going to be really hype. It's first place gets a whole quick draw core. So, you know, if you want to build this deck and you want to play it or try it out, you can get the whole core for winning first place in Quarter Century Rare, which is pretty sick. So, yeah, come through to this if you're in the area. If you're in SoCal, you want to drive up for the weekend, you know, come out to Vegas Sunday morning. Sunday, I think this tournament starts at 11 a.m. Yeah, and you can pre-reg for it on the Night and Day Games website and shit like that. But just want to shout this out. I'll be doing coverage for this as well, and I think Totagon will also be there, and he'll be doing coverage. So this sort of like massive monthly thing is something that we kind of want to do more of, but we'll see how many players we can get because I really want to build up the scene in Las Vegas so we can maybe have an RBET here or something like that. Anyway, round 1 versus Cam on Machina. So Machina recently went 11-0 at the Ultimate Time Wizard, which is pretty cool. This is the first time Machina has won anything major, basically, so there's a little bit of Machina hype going around right now. I think Machina versus Quick Draw is heavily in Quick Draw's favor. And I didn't mention this a lot in the deck tech or in the previous matches, but I think that just the way Quick Draw lines up against Hamster Raikou Caius is so unbelievably favorable for Quick Draw that I didn't even feel it was worth testing versus decks that had Raikous in them because, well, you'll see in this match. I'll show you exactly like what goes down. All right, let's put it on 2x speed. We do a little bit of dice roll action. We win the dice roll. Oh, fuck, I skipped too far. All right, shuffle up. let's get into it. Let's get into it. Oh my gosh, this was hype. This was hype. So, playing in tournaments is always fun. There's always a little bit of nerves around one, etc., etc. But shout out to my opponent Cam. There's one thing I do want to comment on before we get into this match as well, is that my opponent played a little slow. And normally, you'll see, well, I don't know if you guys can see the round timer here, but this recording is 46 minutes. So this round, normally, in a major tournament, I would have told my opponent to go faster. Because this was kind of like our weekly league, which is like a little bit more of a time for people to test things out, I was not as aggressive with telling him to play faster. But if this was a major tournament, I absolutely would have told him to hurry the fuck up or I'm going to call a judge. And I would have done it as soon as literally the first turn of the game. Like, okay, so first turn, he wins the die roll. Actually, I don't win the die roll. I lose the die roll. He goes Charge the Light Brigade. He mills double book Machina. So I immediately know what he's playing. He's playing Hamster Ico Caius Machina. And you see 2 books hit the graveyard here. This is a large part of why I fucking hate blind milling. Because when you mill stuff like double book, in my brain, like, immediately I'm thinking, okay, if I have Drill Dandy, I win the game. Because there are 2 of his outs to Drill Warrior. And with 2 of his outs, he probably doesn't play that many more outs. So Drill Warrior alone is probably just going to solo this game. So my game plan is already initiated on this first activation of Charge the Light Brigade. That is the unfortunate part of blind milling, is that sometimes you mill cards and you immediately tell your opponent like what you do and don't have. Did he have Compulse in his deck there? I didn't see. Let me scroll back there for a second and just see if he had Compulse in his deck. Yeah, I do see a compulsory evacuation device, so he does have additional outs to drill. But generally speaking, once their books and their compulses are gone, it becomes a very, very, very easy matchup. You just Drill Dandy them to death, and they can't beat that really ever. So he goes set monster, set back row pass turn. I'm like, all right, whatever. I draw Avarice. I normal Sangan, attack the set. It's Raikou. So easy +1 for me. Now the nice part about this deck in particular, I'm gonna see if this is gonna show up even. This might not show up. It might be cropped a little bit. The sideboard is cropped a little bit, and the top it's cropped a little bit because of the YouTube cropping. But you'll notice you have 2 Dandelions. You have Card Trooper, Level Eater, Sangan, double Lone Fire, Stratos. You have Necro Guard Nest. You have like maybe fucking 10 ways. Charge the Light Brigade. That doesn't really do anything, does it? But you have like 10 ways roughly to play into like between the combinations of like Foolish, Debris, and stuff. You have like 10 ways to play into turn 1 set Raikou at card advantage. So you actually punish your opponent for setting Raikou turn 1. It's really, really nice. It makes it so that your opponent can't effectively get their engine going. And that's why Quick Draw is so good, I think, in these like Hamster Raikou style mirror matches, whatever. And then on top of that, if you just have like Drill Dandy, like you can ignore the Raikou for the entire game, basically. Anyway, I search Quick Draw and I just pass the turn. I have Gores in hand, so there's no reason for me to do anything. And notice my body language here. I've set my hand on the table and I've closed my fist like I have nothing in my hand. So I'm bluffing no Gores right now. Kind of touch my face, kind of look away from the game a bit. Kind of thinking, okay, here comes Fortress. He attacks for 18. And now I'm thinking, as long as I can get Drill Dandy going, because I have Dandy in my hand, as long as I can get that going, the only thing that really matters here is my life total. So what I'm thinking is if his back row is like Mirror Force or Compulsory or something like that, we're going to figure that out. But basically, I just want to drop Gores now and take as little damage as possible, because when we get to the Drill Dandy stage, I want to have a life total, basically. So, yeah. I don't know if I put the life totals up on the screen here, but I don't know if I do that in the past. But we take 18. We're down to 6,200. He's at 8,000. So this is game 1. You know the vibes. You know the vibes. So we've taken the first hit. I dropped Gores early because I'm planning on blowing up this field anyway. I just didn't want to take that 25 and then be at risk of like a random OTK later in the game. That's kind of my game plan here. So yeah, I think for a little bit, I got 6 cards, 7 cards to work with. I decide that I'm just going to switch the Gores to attack and swing at the Fortress. He might do like a Mirror Force or a Deep Prison here to defend his guy, which would be pretty good for us because that's another out to Drill Warrior that's gonna be gone, basically. Next, I go for Foolish, send Dandelion. Keep it simple, Dandelion effect, get 2 tokens. You know the vibes. Using the Grass Energies, the Hold on Phantoms ones. Normal Debris, target Dandelion. Synchro into Black Rose Dragon. Blow up the field. And this is also going to be monsters 4 and 5 for our Avarice, which is nice too. We don't want to do it yet. I get 2 tokens. Figure out it was Space Typhoon in his back row, so pitch Alias, special Quick Draw, make Drill, activate Avarice now, put back the Black Rose, put back basically everything that isn't Dandy or Quick Draw, because we're going to want to loop the Dandy and Quick Draw in case he has an out to our Drill Warrior, like a compulsory. He's out 2 of his books, so it's literally just compulsory or battle traps, and that's the only way he can beat Drill Warrior from this point. So if he doesn't draw compulsory, we instantly win this game. So at this point in the game, we're 5 minutes in, well, 4 minutes into the game actually starting after shuffling and like presenting decks. I've already won this game, straight up. If he doesn't draw, like, basically a 1 to 3 outer for this Drill Warrior, I've already won. There's no way he's beating me. I've protected my life total. I've got Drill Dandy going. His entire deck is invalidated by Drill Dandy. So that's it. Pitch Lila, banish the Drill, pass the turn. We have a token defending our life total. So now if I was at like 4,000 here, he could have like a crazy turn where he goes like Gear Frame, Force, and then bring out Double Fortress, and then just kills me. But because I knew that this was likely going to be my next turn, end on 1 token, that's why I dropped the Gores a little bit early to make sure that my life total was high enough to not randomly die to like specifically that OTK setup. I think a lot of people would have messed this up and then like died to damage at some point in this game and not drop Gores early enough there. But yeah, like I said, from the Charge of the Light Brigade, I knew immediately what I was playing against. I knew exactly how I was going to lose. I knew exactly how to win this matchup. And because I have the game plan and because I have like the general concept of how I'm supposed to play this matchup, which is just survive and then Drill Dandy him out of the game, yeah, it's very, very difficult for me to lose this matchup. Like 99% of the time, I'm going to win this matchup as long as he doesn't find his drill outs. You know what I mean? So here's that Fortress that I was talking about. But that's all he's got. He's got a Mirror Force in hand. We can see that. He's got a Pot of Avarice. He just attacks over the token, sets the Mirror Force, passes the turn back. And again, as long as we just don't play into the Battle Trap, like we're going to outvalue him with tokens over the course of this game. And I can even get to a point where I loop Caius and just banish his fortresses and he runs out of win cons, which we'll get to later in the game. Anyway, Drill comes back. No reason to attack because we don't want to play into Battle Traps. Once again, we know the game plan. Patience is important with this deck. It's very, very important. I think I set Card Trooper here because once again, I'm just trying to build up tokens, get to a Caius, start banishing all his fortresses, and then I just play the long game here because from this point, it's very difficult for us to lose. Once we find Traps done too, that's going to cut off the compulsory out, and then we should be golden. Once we get enough resources too, we could even make a second drill, and then that makes it so we're even less likely to lose to the compulsory as well. He's sitting here, and he thinks for a good minute there, like a solid minute, and then he just attacks a token, I believe. And the thing is like, at this point, if you're him, what you need to be thinking about is like, all right, how do I win this game? And if your only way to win this game is draw compulsory, then you might at this point want to concede straight up to save time. Like if you don't have an out to this, he asks if he can bottomless. You can't bottomless drill when it comes back because it misses timing. This ruling takes a little bit of explanation, but yeah, basically when drill comes back, you can't bottomless it. You can't torrential as well. So drill's going to come back. I'm like, because it comes back and then it adds a monster and that's all one effect resolving, the last thing to happen is a monster being added to my hand. It's a sequential resolution. And because bottomless and torrential are when you can effects, I'm just reading it to him. When it says when you can effects, you can't like you can't bottomless or torrential because it misses timing. There's no summon window that happens as the last thing. So yeah, basically. I'm gonna add back Lila. Anyway, drill effect to banish because I want to play her on torrential probably. Oh, he dust shoots me on resolution. So now I know his set is bottomless because he showed it to me. And dust shoot is happening here. And you can see my hand already has the Caiuses and the Titanials, so I can start banishing his fortresses as soon as now. And that's probably gonna be that. He's gonna take my Caius. Doesn't really matter. We only need one. Although he can bottomless this one. So, you know, getting a second one is kind of tough. Yeah, we pitch the Titanial. He chains dust shoot to the Drill Warrior banish activation. And he's going to chain bottomless there. So he banishes our Caius, which does suck, but we banish the Fortress, which is fine. So now, once again, just like really happy my life total is high because we could randomly die to some shit. And yeah, we're just not going to randomly die to some shit because we're at 6,200. And like this deck, it takes a lot of resources for this deck to put up like even 5,000 points of damage through a set monster. So yeah, big chillin'. I have to see his graveyard because I have a set Card Trooper and I can flip it and attack. But that's a way to throw the game because if I flip it and attack, then he drops Gores and then he reversals me and I die. So there's no reason to play into Gores when I'm just going to win this long game by banishing all of his cards and possibly even decking him. Card Trooper's going to draw me a card. He sets a back row, passes, we draw a card, Drill comes back, we get Dandy, just straightforward, keep it simple. Every mill for him is actually really bad because it just puts him more towards like losing the game. Drill effect to banish, pitch Dandelion, get 2 tokens, set Solemn, set Mirror Force, pass the turn, and now I have Solemn for possible compulsory out to Drill Warrior. So I'm actually just crushing this game. Like I probably will will win this game. And at this point, he should just concede. Like, I don't think that, like, he should continue to play this game out. And that's, like, something that you got to learn by playing this matchup a few times. Yeah, he mills 3, mills an Avarice. That's going to get him closer to decking out. You can see his graveyard is now bigger than his deck. We draw a card. We add back Debris Dragon. See the card we drew, I think, is the Lone Fire Blossom. I'm just going to Debris, make Stardust, keep it really, really simple, get 2 tokens, pitch whatever card was in our hand that we drew. I think it's Lone Fire. Actually, I just play into Mirror Force because I'm like, all right, he probably has Mirror Force. Attack for 21, deal some damage, get his guy out of play. And I think I Drill Warrior banish by pitching Lone Fire. Yep. So just don't need to play the Drill Warrior into anything. It's just going to keep getting me back quality cards every single turn. It's going to filter my draws so I draw perfectly for the rest of the game. It's going to make sure I have defense for the rest of the game. It's going to make sure he can never deal those last points of damage. He goes for Pot of Avarice, targets all his shit, and I'm just like, yeah, it's fine. That doesn't fucking matter. Literally, like, this doesn't matter. Like, put back the gear frames, like, put back everything. Like, actually, please search your fortresses so I can get them banished. Like, I actually want him to get them in circulation so I can wrap this game up faster. My biggest concern here is that he's taking a really long time, and I'm going to win this game, but my biggest concern is he has an aggressive start game 2, and then we go into game 3, and then we draw. So it's in my best interest for him to play faster, even though I'm up a game. Either I need him to play faster, or I need him to play a lot fucking slower. But realistically, like, one game is not going to take 45 minutes. Like, this game is already, like, close to over. I've already started applying aggressive pressure. Like, the Drill Warrior is going to come back. We're going to get another card next turn. We're going to be able to maybe even attack for game next turn. He sets a new back row. We draw for turn. Drill Warrior comes back. Keep it simple. Drill Warrior could add back a bajillion different things. I'm just going to add back another quick draw at this point so I can just make a second drill if I need to. Keep it simple. Our board is full, so getting back Dandelion doesn't really do us any favors. Because if we pitch Dandelion to banish Drill, then we'll lock our Drill out from coming back. Got to be careful not to do that. I draw Cyber Valley, so I'm going to use that. Try to build up some cards. Draw 2. We draw into Lone Fire and something else. Doesn't even matter really what we draw at this point. I think it's another Kai's. Yeah, it's another Kai's, which is good. So just start us attack the set. If he has Mirror Force, he might flip it here. We'll just start us negate if he has it. Like, whatever. What's it going to be? He thinks for fucking forever here. Again, like, obviously for these types of tournaments, these league tournaments, we're both, like, testing new decks, right? Like, this is my first time playing this deck in a tournament. Well, I've played Quick Draw in tournaments before, so I know this matchup pretty well. But I'm playing this specific build for the first time in tournament. And this is probably one of his first times playing Machina in tournament. So, you know, he's still figuring things out. And this is a good place for him to learn his shit. So, yeah, pitch the Lone Fire Banish Drill. But once again, Raikou just mill 3 is like, that's just -1 for him. And it's also -3 cards in deck. So he's just running out of win cons at this point. Which is funny because he's basically been up cards this entire game. And I think people, like, get super in their head over card advantage. Card advantage doesn't matter. Like, it straight up doesn't matter. What matters is position and pressure. That's what matters. Yes, card advantage can help you make position and make pressure, but, like, a lot of times, like, you'll have, like, 6 normal summons in your hand, and it's like, if you can only deploy one of those normal summons, it's almost like you're -5 for that turn, if that makes sense. And if none of your normal summons can beat the Drill, or none of your cards can beat the Drill, then it doesn't matter how many cards you have. So I was fairly comfortable going super minus early on just to get this Drill going on a clear board, so that, positionally, I will just have the advantage for the rest of the game. Here he goes, Gear Frame for Fortress. I have Solemn, I have Mirror Force. I am, like, really not pressed. Even if he goes Pitch, Summon Fortress, I'm like, that's fine, who cares? So now, Pitch, Summon Fortress is interesting. If he attacks with both, I can just Mirror Force. If he equips the Gear Frame and attacks, then I'll just let the Stardust die. I can just make another Stardust next turn with Debris. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, I'll trade Stardust for Gear Frame here. That's really not a bad trade for me. And then I still have Mirror Force Solemn, like, whatever. And I have Caius in hand, so I can Caius this Fortress. He attacks Stardust. I'm like, sure. Whatever. That's, one less Gear Frame play for you. Drill comes back. Dandy comes back. And it's just like, it is what it is. Drill effect, pitch Dandy, get the 2 tokens. This game was never about anything but Drill Dandy. It was never about anything but Drill Dandy. And this is why I think the best Machina decks also play Drill Dandy, so that they can win the mirror, and so that they can win against frogs and shit. So we pitch a card, pitch Raikou to special quick draw first, because if I Caius his Machina Fortress, we want our hand to be empty. Pitch, obviously, Dandelion for the Drill Warrior first as well, so just completely empty the hand. Sack the token that was there the turn before for Caius, target the Machina Fortress, and then at this point, I can just look in my extra deck, be like, which of my boys do I got here that I can play into this? I could also just attack with Caius before synchroing, but I just wanted to end this game. I make Turbo Warrior, pass the turn. Don't even attack. I didn't even attack. I didn't even feel the need to attack at this point. I think my game plan was just deck him out and hope he takes long enough that and has a slow enough start in game 2 that I can win. Anyway, he sets a new back row, passes a turn. I asked to see his grave. I'm like, yeah. I mean, he doesn't have Mirror Force or Torrential gone, so that's all I got to think about really is Mirror Force Torrential. Drill comes back. At this point, I could add Titanial, Tribute Summon it. I could add Dandy, but I don't want to lock my own board unless I want to play into his back row, and we don't have lethal unless I play into his back row, so I think I add Quick Draw. I check his life because it's 57. I'm like, I don't know. I could go Lila too to try and pop one of his back row. And I decided to go with Lila to try and hit his Mirror Force. I'm pretty sure the middle set is Mirror Force. He's had it the whole game, and we haven't played into Mirror Force even once. So I'm pretty sure the middle set is Mirror Force. We played into every other back row that he would have used. So yeah, just going to summon Lila. Lila effect, target the middle one. And yeah, like I said, that's going to be the Mirror Force. It's pretty obviously the Mirror Force. He's going to go Chain Regeki Break. And at this point, he does show me that he has more than just Book of Moon as an out to drill. But by this point, it's too late. We've already taken over. If the Lila resolves and pops the Mirror Force, he dies this turn. You know what I mean? And if the Regeki Break targets the drill, I could even consider Solemning it if I want to. He's going to target the Lila, and I'm like, that's fine. That doesn't matter. I go, Battle Phase. I was like, can I see your graveyard? Just making sure. See no Deep Prisons, but I do see Regeki Break in books. I'm like, he's probably not playing Deep Prison. I'll just attack. He's going to flip Mirror Force. I'm going to flip Solemn Judgment, and that's going to be the game because he discarded Gorse to the Regeki Break. So yeah, he can no longer play through this, and that's just going to attack for game. He's going to check the Turbo Warrior's effect. That guy's effect is going to come up later in the tournament. But as you can see, this game 1 took 25 minutes. It just took far too long. He's going to call target Gorse. Whatever. This doesn't matter. This is still irrelevant. Still doesn't beat the drill, and we have Mirror Force set. So pitch the Caius, banish the drill. Good thing we didn't burn that Mirror Force earlier for no fucking reason. Yeah, so all right, you got Gorse in play. What now? And you can see now, when the cards kind of like dial down to it, he's got a Gorse in play and 3 cards in hand. I guarantee you his 3 cards in hand are not as good as Drill coming back. So even when the card advantage finally boils down, Drill Dandy's all it takes, baby. That's all it takes. You end up winning every single game that guy sticks around. It's too powerful. It's like, it's really, really hard to beat once it gets going. Just flip the Force on the Gorse. He's thinking, and he finally concedes. So 20 minutes into this game beyond the point where he could have just conceded. But hey man, he was drawn to Regeki Break, he was drawn to Compulsory, and potentially could have drawn one of those 2 to out the drill. So fair enough to keep playing it out. Always, give yourself the best chances to win. But once Drill Dandy gets going game 1, it's pretty fucking rough for this Machina deck. Like, they really just don't have much to deal with it outside of those specific cards. And as long as I draw my out for those cards or draw a second way to make Drill Dandy, then and keep my life total high, those are the 2 priorities for me, then I'm chilling. I'm big chilling, and I can't possibly lose. So yeah, that's pretty much that. Looking at my sideboard, I'm like, what do I want to bring in? I decided to bring in some shit. At this point, they tell us we don't have a lot of time left in the round. Oh, sorry, I skipped a little bit too far. So turn 1, I Foolish Dandy, get 2 tokens, normal Debris Dragon, and he has DD Crow for my Dandelion, which really sucks. So he starts off with a T set, pretty standard stuff. DD Crow makes this matchup a lot harder. So post board, if they're siding a bunch of crows, that's definitely the most effective tool. So I just attack the set in case it's Raikou and it's Hamster. So I lose a couple of unwinnable situations here where 50-50 on a set, whether I should make Iron Chain first or not. And then also just him having a hand trap. Hand traps are bullshit. I feel like later formats of Yu-Gi-Oh! Where hand traps are really good is miserable because there's no way to play around a hand trap. Like, you can play around a back row. Like, if you saw the last game, you saw me play around Mirror Force like the entire game, like expertly, right? Like, I had the opportunity to play around it. Hand traps, there's no playing around them. They're just playing through them. And that's why hand traps are bullshit. They make the game miserable. It's like, okay, well, you had the hand trap, and there was nothing I could have done about that. So that's it. There's no decisions. There's no like skill. There's no anything. It's just, did you have it or did you not have it? So yeah, I do hate hand traps. I understand that they're an integral part of the game, but like a big part of the reason why I love this format more than anything else is that the hand traps are like fairly balanced. Kalu, Honest, Gorse, Tragodia, Battle Fader, DD Crow, and Herald of Orange Light. Of the most bullshit, I think Herald of Orange Light is really stupid, but even that's somewhat balanced because it's like a -1. We fall pretty far behind here in game 2, and I really don't want this game to be a draw. So after a few more interactions, I summon Jane. I Jane attack the hamster. I have a Cyber Dragon in hand, so he's going to bottomless the Jane. Unfortunately, that token being around is kind of tough for us. We are able to make Drill here. We have Drill Dandy, but he has another way to get rid of our Dandy engrave. So I think he has a Soul Release or a DD Crow or something like that. But yeah, Drill, we think here for a minute. Drill attack the hamster because we have the Cyber Dragon to clear the gear frame. It's obviously, leaving gear frame in play is a liability because it's stronger and can deal us more damage. And it can equip to the fortress, which is obviously annoying. But yeah, he Soul Releases my graveyard, I believe, here. And I think I concede shortly after just to be able to play a game 3. So yeah, Soul Releases the graveyard, gets a Machine of Fortress in play. I'm going to skip forward a little bit just to navigate this. Unfortunately for us, we only have one Chimera Tech in our sideboard because we are extra decking that Junk Warrior. Or not sideboard, extra deck. So even if we're able to bring back Cyber Dragon here, we wouldn't be able to Chimera Tech him. But it didn't matter anyway, even if we did have the second Chimera Tech, because he has a second fucking DD Crow for our Cyber Dragon, and I can see the game at that point. So yeah, pretty much that. So Drill Dandy game 1, pretty good. Drill Dandy game 2, when he has Soul Release double DD Crow, lot harder to make that sort of long game happen again. So for game 3, I decide, okay, we have very little time to play this game out. It's 37 minutes on the clock. We have maybe 8 minutes left to play this game. I'm just going to board in everything aggressive and side out my Gores, side out basically everything that requires me to take damage, Solemn, Brain Control. Well, I leave in Solemn because Solemn will allow me to OTK, and Brain Control is still pretty good. But I side out Gores. I side out a few other cards that are like passive, slower, that type of shit. Yeah, I think I side out the Raikou or something like that. And yeah, opening hand is pretty good. I've got Dust Shoot Solemn, I've got Kaiku the Ghost Destroyer, and I've got Scapegoat, and I've got Mind Control. So I'm going first. I've got 7 minutes to finish this game. I Dust Shoot him, and his hand is fucking good. He has Gear Frame, Hamster, and Raikou. So a lot of ways to deal with my Kaiku the Ghost Destroyer. Pretty fucking annoying, I'm not going to lie. If we take the Gear Frame, then he can't summon the Fortress, which is nice. If we take the Hamster, then he can just set the Raikou. But Hamster, we can't Solemn Judgment, and he could Solemn our Mind Control on the Hamster, and that would be bad. So I think what we got to do is we got to take Hamster and hope he summons Gear Frame, and then we Solemn the summon of Gear Frame this turn, and then he's set behind a turn. He has to set a Solemn. We hit for 18. We banish the Gear Frame, and then, maybe we find like a Typhoon or something to deal with this Solemn, so that when we do go for Mind Control on that Raikou, he can't Solemn it. But even then, even if let's say he summons Gear Frame this turn, right? And then we Solemn that. We take 4K. We hit for 18. He drops to 62. He sets Raikou. He sets Solemn. He passes back to us. We Mind Control the Raikou. He Solemns that. He drops to 31. We're up in life at that point. And that's what we need. And I've got Scapegoat in my hand too, I believe I have Scapegoat in my hand. I don't know if I have Scapegoat in my hand at this point. But I figured taking Hamster is the best here because that's going to be the card that prevents us from getting a situation that deals him a lot of damage. I go ahead and just Solemn this Gear Frame. I flip it the second he says it. We're playing this game hella fast because we just want to make sure and have a good game here. Game 1 did take a while. I rip Future Fusion, which is goated. That means we're getting Gaia in 2 turns. I'm going to send a Hero, send a Dandy. He doesn't Solemn this, even though I know he has Solemn and he could. Dust Shoot just being incredible, obviously here. Get 2 tokens. Attack for 18, banish the Gear Frame. Keep him off that Avarice, which is nice. And he drops to 62. Pass the turn back, he draws return. He sets Raikou, sets a new back row, passes the turn. Turn 1 Future Fusion, Mind Control is set. He's forced to Solemn. I'm already typing the life before he even does anything. I attack it. Raikou's going to pop the Kaiku, which is scary for me because that means he has a way to deal with the Future Fusion and the tokens. Mostly the Future Fusion, because the Future Fusion is like what I'm kind of relying on here. At this point, I Foolish Burial, Nether Dandelion. Just want to build up a token wall. He's at lower life than me, so yeah, just hopefully can play this game out. And I'm playing quick because I want it to be a full game. I don't want to stall anyone out. I'm going to summon the boy here, the Gaia, attack. He's going to flip Typhoon on the Future Fusion, so he did have the out. I sack a token for Caius, banish a Mirror Force, Avarice, shuffle back my 5 cards. And I'm playing fast because, like I said, I just want to give him an opportunity to play this game. And I feel like I'm winning this game anyway, as it is. It's not great. I know he has Fortress, and if he can summon that, he can beat my Caius, and my hand's not great after that. But, I think I'm in a favored position because he's low on cards. I have information. He pitches, specials Fortress, attacks over Caius. We take 100. He passes back. But we're still up in life. I think about setting Raikou or setting Card Trooper here. I decide it's better to set Card Trooper, try and draw into like a Cyber Dragon or something like that. He goes Charge the Light Brigade, mill 3, gets his monsters for the Avarice. He's going to go ahead and search out the Lila, and Lila can blow up my back row, which I think is Heavy Storm. I think I set Heavy Storm to bluff something. I could be wrong. But, again, he's just running the clock, like taking too much time thinking about like all these decisions and shit. Like the way he's shuffling is like kind of slow. He's just not playing this game like we only have a minute left, which at this point we only have a minute and a half left. He goes Lila Pop, thinks really hard about this attack. Card Trooper draws a card, passes a turn, mills 3. And I'm playing fast because like I said, I want this game to actually happen, right? But I do think here for a second because I got some hard decisions to make. And at this point, there's only a minute left, so there's really no point in me like not just winning this game. Summon Debris, target Card Trooper. He's got DD Crow. All right, that's fine. I decide to make Iron Chain. Iron Chain attack the Lila, I believe. And then set a back row and pass. If he has Caius to burn me here, he'll win the game. But again, I didn't want to stall him out. I feel like that's scummy. He just crashes with the Iron Chain, pops my back row, which is Avarice, which is never going to be live. He Avarices himself, shuffles the cards up. At this point, like he doesn't have a monster in play. I can just attack him directly, and it doesn't really matter. He has a set monster. I have Torrential Kaiku in hand. I'm going to set Raikou, set Torrential, pass a turn. He's going to flip Raikou, target my Raikou. Totally fine. Once again, we've got Torrential, so if he summons another card, I can just kill it with Torrential. Summon Kaiku, attack the Raikou, banishes 2 cards that are in his graveyard. He drops down to 1,500 life points. I pass the turn back. My last card in hand is Quick Draw, and time in the round is called. And yeah, I win the game because I'm up life points. So kind of a tough match. I think he could have played a little bit faster and possibly had chances. I also conceded early game 2 just to make sure we had a chance to play a full game 3. But yeah, I think he definitely could have played faster in the first game to give himself better chances. And with the Konami time rules, like, I'm just going to win here. I think I'm in a favored position to win. He's at 1,500. I still have life points. I have Torrential plus Kaiku. He has nothing in play. And he's at lethal. I think one of the cards in his hand is Gores. I believe another one of the cards in his hand is DD Crow. So, I mean, like, he has 2 dead cards here, basically. And I have Torrential Kaiku, so. And my card in hand is Quick Draw. So if I draw any, like, basically any monster here, I'm, like, pretty good. So, yeah, I think that, I think I was going to win this game no matter what, just based off of that. But obviously, time constraints are real. You got to play faster. And if this were a real tournament, or not a real tournament, but like a bigger tournament, like a major tournament, I definitely would have told him to play faster in game 1 because, yeah, that's just the way it goes. All right, but yeah, able to take down Machina and able to showcase, just the strength of like the standard quick draw shit. All right, moving into the next one. Moving into the next game. This is round 2 against Mason. So the last time I played against Mason on camera, he beat me. He was playing Black Wings, and he opened Double Whirlwind a couple of times against me, and I believe I was playing the Dragon Simorg deck. So if you guys haven't seen that video already, that video was hype. I played against Mason, I think, and he was my only loss with that deck. So yeah, so I want vengeance. I want vengeance because last time he sacked the shit out of me. We shuffle up, high roll a bit, I roll a 5, he rolls a 7, so already I'm getting sacked. I'm going second yet again. Going second against Black Wings, always scary, and he's definitely playing Black Wings because that's his deck, So that's what he's got. It's got his max rarity. Hits me with the double Whirlwind, normal Bora. I'm just like, oh my god. But my hand's actually not bad. I've got Gores and Heavy Storm. So my hand's actually not bad. I'm just like, bruh. Every time I play against him, he has double Whirlwind, though. Which is crazy. I think it's like 4 for 4. He's had double Whirlwind turn 1 against me. And he's won the die roll both times, I think. So pretty unlucky for me, but it is what it is. My hand counters it. He sets a back row, and I'm like, all right, I got Heavy Storm, so 1 for 1 Heavy Storm, but I get a clear double Whirlwind, and it's not too bad. And I've got Card Trooper, mill 3, so I can at least clear this Bora, and I got 3 monsters, so, it's really not that bad. I've got a Trap Stun in hand. I can't set it, though, because I've got Gores, so, yeah, a little bit problematic. He's going to summon Blizzard, bring out the Bora, and he's going to Synchro into Goyo Guardian and pop my Card Trooper. that way. So this is actually a little thing that I'm not sure a lot of people will know, but Card Trooper actually doesn't give the draw unless it's on my field. So let me see if I can pull that up real quick. Can you guys see this text? Let me see if you guys can see this text. I wonder if you guys can see that. Oh, you can. Yeah, it says, if this card you control. So yeah, you control is the keywords there. I think this actually alters this game a little bit. Not a ton, but a little bit. He decides not to take the Card Trooper. So I'm like, okay. He doesn't take the Card Trooper because he thinks it'll give me a draw. If he takes it and I kill it, I actually won't get the draw because I don't control it when it's destroyed. So he actually should have taken the Card Trooper there. But that's something that a lot of people would have missed. So pretty important to note that about Card Troopers. If you Goyo Guardian, take it. Anyway, here I top deck Lone Fire, and I could go get Titanium and try and crash, but this is mostly just an oppression check, and I'm just going to get Dandelion. I think at this point in the game, like, get Dandelion's better. I don't want to play into Bottomless. I don't want to play in any back row. I got a Debris Dragon in my hand and a Caius in my hand, something like that. And I'm going to set Trap Stun. He's going to end phase Typhoon it. I'm like, okay. So my game plan there was to set Trap Stun. He's going to kill Dandy. I'll get some tokens. Maybe I'll take some damage from a Pierce, but next turn I can Trap Stun Black Rose him and actually be winning despite double Whirlwind, which is pretty crazy. So, yeah. We know the Kalute's still in hand. He summons Bora. Pretty dangerous. We're going to get 2 tokens. He's going to attack a token. We're going to take 1,700. Drop down to 3,900. Pretty dangerous life total. I got a sack for Caius. Target is Goyo. Banish the Goyo. Attack the Bora. He's got Kalute. So we're going to take 700. Drop to 32. So as long as he doesn't have another Kalute. Well, even if he has another Kalute here, it's only 31. So he attacks. And we're able to drop Gores. So that's going to be Gores. And he's got 2 more back row. Heavy Storm is already gone. There's nothing for him to really fear. Setting 2. At this point, I'm like, okay, what can I do? I got a couple cards in hand. I got Quick Draw. I got Scapegoat. I got Alias. I summon Alias, and that is going to get Torrential. So I'm like, oh, fuck, he is playing Torrential. If he wasn't playing Torrential there, I think we would have had a really good shot. But because he's got Torrential in his Blackwing deck, and only about half of players, maybe less than half, even play Torrential in Blackwings, but I think it's really good. I set my back row. It's Scapegoat, and he top decks the 3rd fucking Bora for game through Scapegoat. So not only did we get to a stable point where next turn we were going to be able to quick draw and synchro with the tokens and shit, but he had to top deck specifically one of his remaining Blizzards or his Bora to win the game through this Scapegoat. And even if he went Blizzard, bring something back, I don't even know if he would have synchroed into Armed Wing before attacking. So it literally was top deck 3rd Bora, and he just managed to hit it game 1. So pretty tough, but game 2, the way I like to side, I actually took a picture of this on my phone, so I can tell you how I was siding. At this point, after testing versus Blackwings, the cards I was siding out was Sangan, Scapegoat, Trap Dust Shoot. So those 3 for sure go. Cyber Valley, Infernal Prodigy, and then potentially, depending on 1st and 2nd, I would side out Card Trooper or Level Eater and the other Cyber Valley, potentially. But it just depends on like 1st and 2nd and build configuration for those 2 cards. So the cards that were coming out were those, and the cards that are coming in, you can see me thumb to the front, 2 Bottomless, 1 Torrential, and double Trap Stun. So yeah, those are going to be the big ones. Trap Stun will allow me to play through those heavy back rows. And yeah, just bring all those cards in and take all those cards out. So let's get forward through the sideboarding section. I think going... Oh, fuck. Sorry. A little bit too far. I think going into games 2 and 3, we're actually pretty favored versus Blackwings. Just because the build configuration is really strong. And we get, like, peak combo plus peak interaction. So it's like the best interaction and the best combos. Best Haymakers, best Sweepers. You get the vibes. Future Fusion, send Stratos, send Dandy. Pitch Dandy, get 3 tokens. And so I've started with, like, the nuts. I've got Quick Draw, Dandy, Future Fusion. So pretty great. Finally get to show off this combo. I make Road Warrior. Road Warrior's going to bring out the 1 Cyber Valley that we left in going first. And that's going to banish the Cyber Valley and the token to draw 2 cards. So like I said, going first, we leave in the Cyber Valley in case we have a Road Warrior draw. And going second, I think we sided out as well. Just to play around deck dev. Going second, we draw into Gores. So I've got a 5-card hand. I've got Gaia coming. I've got a 3,000 monster in play. I got Trap Stun set. I'm feeling pretty fucking good about this. I'm feeling pretty fucking good. So he draws for turn. He's got the Allure of Darkness, so he draws 2 cards. Powerful card. Very, very powerful card. He's going to go ahead and banish his Kalut. So I'm thinking Kalut might be his only monster. Normally Kalut is like something you'd want to save to help you deal with the Road Warrior. But yeah, I'm thinking it might be his only monster. So he reads the Road Warrior. He's like, okay, it's a warrior type. It summons machines, blah, 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 blah. He's going to go for Special Cyber Dragon and set 5, I believe. But I could be wrong. I think that's what he does. So yeah, Special Cyber Dragon, set 4. Yeah, set 4. Okay, so Cyber Dragon being in play normally would be a liability into the Road Warrior because I could like activate it and then Special Cyber Valley and then just contact off with the Cyber Dragon. However, we did side out our second Cyber Valley. So we're not going to be able to use the Road Warrior to eat his Cyber Dragon for free and put a 2,000 monster into play for free. So we're not going to be able to get that +2 juiciness, but it's totally fine because we're kind of crushing. We have Trap Stun into 4 back row. This is the strength of Trap Stun. All of a sudden, my opponent has 0 cards. Like, he has 1 card, and he has 4 back row, which died to the Trap Stun. And I have a 3,000 monster, and I have a 2,200 monster coming. Just the best shit. Just the best shit imaginable. Anyway, I decide to set a monster. He lets this happen. I contact into Chimera Tech because I do have the machine. So, yeah, Cyber Dragon, sometimes useful against our deck because it can allow him to make Black Rose, but leaving it in play like that it can be a liability. Anyway, I put a little dice to remind myself how big the Chimera Tech is. Go battle phase, and do I go battle phase? I might just flip the Trap Stun. Oh, I flipped the Trap Stun first here. Yeah, I flipped the Trap Stun. I attack for 5,000, and then I think I Black Rose. Oh, I Heavy Storm. Yeah, Trap Stun into Heavy Storm. So we were able to hit Starlight Road, Deep Prison, Mirror Force, and Typhoon. So he's on 2 cards. Deal with my 2 huge monsters on 2 cards. Can you do it? Set, pass. All right. Do you have Icarus attack? What do you got? I've got 4 cards in hand. I'm just absolutely crushing because of that Trap Stun into Sweeper. He's got the Icarus attack. That's totally fine. I got Torrential Tribute. I got a set monster. He's got a normal Shura. That's fine. He attacks. I'll just right go pop his guy. Mill nothing, but it doesn't matter because I'm ahead. Normal Lone Fire. Lone Fire go get Titanial. Attack put him to 200. So he's taking 5,000. He's taking 7,800. Brain Control is no longer on the table, which is nice for us. Oppression is no longer on the table. He just sets a monster. And he's dead here because I Black Rose switch his monster to attack and game shot him. So, yeah. Game 2, very quick. Showed the power of Future Fusion. Showed the power of Trap Stun. As you can see, like I said, post board, I think it's a pretty good matchup. Your monsters outclass their monsters. And you have a lot of Sweeper into Haymaker setups like Trap Stun Black Rose, Trap Stun Heavy Storm, Trap Stun Caius, Trap Stun, etc. Trap Stun Road Warrior into Brain Control. Into, like, you have so many Haymaker plays that it's just like, it's so good for you. And Trap Stun also negates DDV as well if that comes up, obviously. And DDV does come up in this matchup a fair bit, but like I said, I side out a lot of the targets like Sangan and shit. And like, if I'm going first, then I get to, summon summon Quick Draw Dandy and Debris turn 1 very consistently. So, even if they do deck dev you usually have a Synchro Monster in play already. Sometimes even you have a Stardust in play to negate the deck dev as well. So I actually think that like maxing on the combo cards makes you more consistent into deck devastation, and minimizing on the flip effects is what makes you stronger into deck dev as well, because the flip effects are the ones that get clogged in your hand. They're the ones that get ripped. They're the ones that slow you down and make it so that you can't just put a big dude into play versus deck dev. Deck dev's biggest weakness is that they have to sacrifice their board to play it, and so if you have any amount of pressure, it's very good against deck dev. All right, moving forward. So going first, he goes for the set 1, set 2 pass. I draw for turn as Lone Fire, so we got a lot of options in our hand. I think I got all normal summons. So I go Lone Fire, sacrifice, and we go ahead and just get Titanium, I believe. And once this resolves, I feel like just going for this is fine. Get the Titanium out of the deck, make it so I can't draw it. Activate Quick Draw, pitch Dandelion, get 2 tokens. I know he does play Torrential, but whatever. Sometimes you just got to make him have it. Summon Drill. He didn't Torrential the Titanium. I figured if he had Torrential, he would have Torrential the Titanium. I activate Drill effect to banish, I believe. And I pitch Alias. So, graveyard's full here. Top deck average is good. I just pass the turn. I don't even attack. Because I don't know why. I don't know why I didn't attack. Probably should have attacked there. Maybe if he Mirror Forces me, I was a little bit weary of that. I wanted to leave Titanium in play in case he was trying to set up like Sirocco Pump. Because Titanium can negate Sirocco Pump. Instead, he's got Blizzard attack the token, which is totally fine. He reads Drill Warrior a little bit. He can oppression the Drill Warrior coming back, but I figured he would have oppression the Lone Fire. So he has to have oppression in hand here, I think. Another reason I didn't want to swing the Titanial into Mirror Force because I'm trying to play around Icarus attack. So draw for turn, drill effect to come back. He lets us come back. I get the drill back or the dandy back. He tries to Icarus. Titanial negates. So yeah, keeping the Titanial around, not playing it in the Mirror Force, definitely the better play there. Drill effect to banish. Pitch dandy, get 2 tokens. And I believe I've drawn a trap card. Oh no, Debris Dragon. So I'm going to summon Debris, target dandy. And I'm going to try to make Stardust Dragon here. So hopefully that's good. Get 2 tokens. Attack for 25. And that's going to go through, so it kind of confirms to me that he has no Deep Prison or anything. He draws for turn. He's got a way to kill the Stardust, which is pretty good. I think he has Gale. So, yeah, Gale's pretty good here. I can't lie. Because that means Icarus is also now live to kill the Drill Warrior. So he attacks the Stardust for 50. And this is where I make a misplay. So I'm at 7950. He's at 5500. He sets background pass. Drill comes back. I should have just added back Debris Dragon here. I didn't. I think I add back something stupid. I think I have back like Alias or something stupid. My hand is Lila plus another card. So, yeah. I should have added back something other than Alias. But I was a little bit worried about oppression. So I was like, maybe Alias is the best thing. I forget what I have back here. It might even be Quick Draw. Oh, it's Debris. I do have back Debris. Huh. Maybe I'm not an idiot. Maybe I'm actually kind of smart. All right. Yeah, I do have back the Debris. Maybe I'm thinking of a misplay maybe later on. I just attack. Try to proc the Icarus. He goes for Mirror Force. I'm like, oh, shit. That sucks. Here's Lila. This is possibly going to force an Icarus. Who knows? I'll use Lila to pop something. I was not predicting Mirror Force just because, you know, Titanial was around and stuff. But I guess he had never really had an opportunity to Mirror Force me. I pop a Pro Heavy, which is nice. That means I don't have to deal with my back row getting popped. But he still does have 2 back row, which is a little bit annoying. He attacks over the Lila, sets 1 background, passes. We draw for turn. I believe it is, I don't remember what I top decked there. I can't see it. I think it's Charge of Light Brigade. I summon Jane, and Jane is pretty good in this matchup. It's going to force the Icarus. So he's going to Icarus, target Token, and Jane. And I'm like, interesting. Didn't want to target the back row. I don't know why he didn't want to target the back row, but I figure it's probably because he has Space Typhoon. So I go for Future Fusion, and then he has Space Typhoon. So I'm like, okay. Yeah, Future Fusion is what I top decked. That makes sense. He goes Whirlwind, summon Shura, I bottomless. He tries the deck dev, and then he's like, oh, wait. That's not a Sirocco. So brain lapse moment, but now I know his cards. I've got to Black Rose the field because I cannot allow that Whirlwind to sit around. Even if I make Stardust here, he's still at 55, and I would have to take the gamble that he doesn't draw a monster next turn, and that's just too high of a risk. So I'm going to make the safe play. There are so many non-monsters out of his deck that he is much more likely to draw a monster than a non-monster. I'll just Black Rose, leave 2 tokens, and my top decks are generally better than his when we're at 0. So, yeah, set a monster pass. I don't remember what I set, but here comes Bora, pierce a token. That's fine. Draw for turn is whatever. Raikou pop the back row. It's Royal Oppression. We mill Necrogardener, which is great. Sack for Caius, deal 1,000 to him, and then attack for 36, drop him to 9. And we got Necrogardener Engrave. We got a good board. I'm just going to Foolish, send the second Dandy, get 2 tokens, and pass the turn back to him. He's going to offer the Handshake as he drew Solemn Judgment, and we're going to win the game. So, yeah, pretty straightforward stuff. I mean, we were able to play through back row. We were able to, like, kind of just utilize our power cards. I think the way I used Titanial in that game was pretty smart. Now that I'm thinking about it, I obviously wasn't prepared to do commentary on it, but in the moment I was thinking, yeah, I got to use Titanial to defend the Drill Warrior because there's no... I read that there was no oppression because he didn't oppression the Lone Fire, and then I was going to play through Deep Prison and Mirror Force with the Titanial in play, and I figured Titanial also negates Sirocco Pump and also negates Gale, so there's very few things he could do to get over Titanial token that turn. So I was thinking that, like, as long as the Titanial sticks around to my next turn cycle, it'll be able to play through Icarus, which is really nice, and it ended up doing that for us. So it was a good match. It was a good match versus Mason. Now I'm 1-1 versus him, and thankfully the second 2 games he didn't sack the shit out of me with double Whirlwind. So like I said, I think the matchup's pretty good post board. Trapstun looks really good into the back row. The removal spells, Bottomless, Tarantula are obviously very good versus Black Wings. And the ability to apply that quick pressure and basically force him to use Icarus defensively is very good for us. Like, if you're ever in a spot where you're Icarus 2-for-1ing yourself, like into a Titanial or a Stardust, let me tell you, it feels pretty bad because not only are you losing 2 cards, but you're also losing an entire turn of a normal summon. So, yeah, that's kind of exactly the position you want to force Blackwings to be in. Make them play defensively. Icarus is it's a good offensive card, but defensively it's not as good because it does take up that time of the normal summon. So there's a very real cost to it. All right, moving on, round 3. So up 2-0, pretty good stuff, Round 3, I'm playing against, again, once I mentioned in the intro a little bit, I'm playing against Lightsworn, which is a really hard matchup against Ulysses. So, yeah, Ulysses, I played against him in a previous video, and he's definitely gotten a lot better since the last video because here he is at 2-0, and he's playing a much scarier build. I'll say that much. But yeah, I think did we win the die roll? I don't even remember. I draw 5 cards. Yeah, I won the die roll. So, opening hand, just set Mirror Force, set whatever the fuck I said. I don't remember what I said. I think it was a Dandelion or something like that. He goes Card Trooper, middle 3, hits Wolf. I'm like, bruh. He attacks the set monster, and I think I make a mistake here. I was like giving too much respect to Honest. He attacks with the Wolf, and I Mirror Force. I have a Stardust Dragon. I have Debris into Stardust on my turn, so that's why I wanted to let him kill the Dandy so I could get the tokens, then Debris into Stardust. But I should have held the Mirror Force because I could always I was always gonna go let him kill the token on my turn, Debris Rack Dandy, synchro into Stardust Dragon, get 3 tokens or 2 tokens if he kills one with the Wolf. And then attack the Card Trooper, he takes 21, and then pass back to him, he has Wolf in play. But I still have the Mirror Force, and I have Mirror Force Stardust, which is much better than just Stardust, because then if he summons another monster and tries to attack me, attack the Stardust with Honest, then I can Mirror Force the new monster as well, and then I can get in another attack with the Stardust. So it's actually a really, really, really bad misplay on my part, not holding the Mirror Force. I don't know why I was thinking about Honest, because I'm clearly just going to attack the Card Trooper anyway. So here he goes for Allure, so he's confirming he's on Twilight. So a little bit of a rewarded for my shitty play here. He banishes a DD Crow, which is terrifying. Which means that good thing I Mirror Force, because now my Debris can even resolve through possibly a second Crow. Twilight usually plays 1 or 2 DD Crows main, which is a terrifying card for my deck. I really don't like DD Crow with this deck. Anyway, summon Kaiku, or not Kaiku. I was thinking of Kaiku because that's a way to counter DD Crow, and then my brain just lapsed, but yeah, summon Debris Dragon, bring back the Dandelion. And that's why I was thinking of maybe siding a second Kaiku in the future, because DD Crow is just such a bitch for this deck. Anyway, we do have the Stardust, but we have no way to defend it. So even if he does have Honest here, like, it's kind of stupid. And he ends up having Gores, which is even worse for us. So I'm just like, bro. Why did I not save the Mirror Force? I hit him with the Gores token, pass the turn back. He switches his guys. But it's fine. I got the damage, Can't complain too much. Attacks the token. Now Gores is gone. My hand does have brain control in it, so I'm looking at a way to piece together the last 5,500 here. He sets a monster, and he passes turn. Set monster is Sangan, passes the turn back to us, and you'll see I have Brain, Caius, Quick Draw, and another monster, and you can kind of piece it together. It takes me a second to piece it together because I'm still trying to recover from the tilt of the misplay of not saving the Mirror Force. Yeah, it takes me a minute to piece it together. It's Brain Control the token, sack the token for Caius. Caius target the Gores, deal him the 1,000, put him to 45. Quick Draw Pitch Monster, special Quick Draw, synchro with the 2 tokens into Junk Archer, banish his set monster in case it's Necrogardna, and then attack for 47, and that's game. So it takes me a second to piece that together, but once again, Quick Draw just proving that it's the best card in the deck, and that it allows you to just kill your opponent randomly, even after they have taken hardly any damage, and Caius as well. So once again, I really can't overstate the power of having triple Quick Draw, triple Gores, triple Caius. Oh my gosh, I can't even speak straight, boys. It's been a long video. It's been a lot of recording. Anyway, yeah, pitch special, make the Junk Archer, banish the guy. Keep it simple, keep it straightforward. Banish the guy, attack for 47 for game. And yeah, cool. Moving on to game 2. Able to snatch that one from the jaws of defeat after a crucial misplay that I made. That could have very easily cost me the game if I didn't have a very specific hand there to be able to play through the Gores. So lucky stuff for us. Very lucky. Sideboarding for game 2. I was like, I'll bring in my Grave Hate. I don't really know exactly what his game plan is. And his sideboard might fuck us up pretty hard as well. So let's just skip forward a bit. And after that game, I was like thinking, man, like I can really rush this deck down, like if I'm going first. But going second, like I just have to try and control the grave and hope it's good enough. But my deck doesn't have a lot of ways to control the grave. We only have like the one Kaiku, the one Crow, and the one Soul Release. So I think I might need to go up to a second Kaiku the Ghost Destroyer. I was thinking maybe cutting a Cyber Dragon for Kaiku the Ghost Destroyer, because even against Machina, I was only siding in one Cyber Dragon because I only have one Chimera Tech. So yeah. I don't know about that. I don't know. I think I might just cut a Cyber Dragon. I don't know. That's pretty much that. Anyway, he goes set. Set monster, I believe. Yeah, he has Lumina in hand. He just passes. It dust shoots me, and I'm like, well, that sucks. My hand's pretty good, though. I've got Bottomless. I got Soul Release. So I've got 2 of my 3 ways to control the grave. I got Scapegoat with Cyber Valley, so that's obviously very good. He's going to go ahead and take, I believe, the Debris Dragon. Here he's Kaiku the Ghost Destroyer, and he's like, take the Debris Dragon. I'm like, oh, fuck. If he's not taking Kaiku, then maybe my sideboard plan is not that good. Brutal stuff. So I'm going to set 2 here. I consider not setting the Bottomless yet in case he has, like, I don't know. I really don't know. But I consider not setting it. He has Lila, so he could go for that. I think he does. Yeah, I think he goes for Lila and we have to Bottomless it. Oh my gosh. What's happening here? I think we were talking for a minute. Yeah, that's probably what it was. Anyway, he didn't normal the Lila. He just passes. I end phase Scapegoat and he flips Suppression. I'm like, well, shit. I sided out my Typhoon and my Storm. I'm going to normal Kaiku and attack for 18. Hopefully this is good enough. But yeah, I can't banish the Dust Shoot because it's a trap card. Kaiku only banishes monsters. Pass the turn back. He draws Allure, which is good for him. He can Allure. He should banish the Crow here because Crow does nothing against Kaiku. And he does, so pretty accurate. Sets a Raikou. And that's tough for me. Because now at this point, he can Raikou pop my Bottomless and then just run over the Kaiku with a lot of different things. So that's tough. I have Cyber Valley in hand. I attack, and he goes Raikou pop the Bottomless. And I'm sitting here like, that means he has to have a way to run over Kaiku, right? Like, he has to. He has to have a way to run it over, right? So if he has to have a way to run over Kaiku, then the best play is to go Cyber Valley, banish the Kaiku to draw 2 cards, right? Because if I'm going to lose the Kaiku for free, I might as well turn it into a card in my hand, right? That has to be the right play, right? But he just doesn't have a way to get rid of Kaiku, so... Oh, man. It's so frustrating. Anyway, we do draw into Lila, which is nice. It's an out to this Oppression. He's got his own Lila, and he summons it, and I'm like, dude, did you really not have a way to run over Kaiku the Ghost Destroyer? Did I really just throw away my best card for free? I felt so dumb after this. I felt so stupid. I draw for turn. I've got to go for Lila to pop the Oppression so that I can actually play this game, but that means he can also actually play this game. I'm going to Foolish, send Dandelion, get 2 tokens. He thumbs a Crow to the front of his hand, so leads me to believe that he does have a DD Crow, a second one. End phase, I'm going to mill 3 with Lila, I believe. I'm going to look at his grave. Not enough to Soul Release yet. So I'm just going to use Quick Draw, pitch Quick Draw, bring out Quick Draw. Synchro into, I believe, Drill Warrior. I decide to attack directly, I think. Yeah, I have and then attack directly for 1200. Probably should have just attacked the Lila. Play around Celestia. One Honest was already gone. Man, this is such... I play this game so bad. This is a frustrating one to watch. Yeah, because he does have the Celestia. Yeah, and they also play Kai's too. And he mills Wolf and he mills Plague. And I'm just like, oh my fucking god. I'm taking 4,000 here. More than 4,000. 4,100. 4,400. Yeah. Did I mill Necro? I might have milled Necro, but... I only have Soul Release left over. And I'm just not in a position to deal with this aggression. Drill Dandy's great, but it's not good enough to stop like 5 monsters hitting you. Yeah. Yeah, that's tough. Drill comes back. I activate the effect. I think he asked me if he can Crow it at this point, and I'm like, it doesn't target. So you'd have to Crow it beforehand. I explained that to him. I'm trying to bring back Caius, but yeah. He decides not to Crow, which is fine. He was just asking me if it targeted, and I was like, nah. I'm like, that's chill. I gotta Soul Release his grave. Just keep him off JD and shit, and get rid of that Plague. which is tough because, you know, keep him off JD, but leave the dark in the grave. Maybe I should have banished banished the Gores instead of the JD to keep him off Dad as well. I think I misplayed with that sword. I misplayed this game so much. I was so mad after this game. I lost this game, obviously. Main phase 2, sack the Drill Warrior, because I'm forced to deal with this stupid wolf because I'm at 1500 or some shit. And then he just mills darks for Dark Arm and killed me. So, yeah, recharge. Pitch the Lila, draw 2, draws into the Dad, mills 2, hits a Dark, uses the Crow, summons Dark Armed after a little bit of thinking, and that's game. So, yeah, going into game 3, I'm like, man, I messed this game up so bad. And I was thinking, what's my best way to play around DD Crow? Because DD Crow's the way I'm getting fucked. DD Crow and Royal Oppression. And I'm like, I'm just going to side out all my weak shit, like Gores and like Scapegoat and whatever. And I'm just going to bring in like all my aggro shit. Like, I'm going to bring in Typhoon again, because that can hit the Dust Shoot end phase, or it can hit the Oppression. And then I'm also going to bring in, I believe, the Cyber Dragons? I don't remember. I think I just brought in all my ways to be aggressive. I was like, I just want to attack and close this game out, because going first, I have the initiative, and just, if I can Caius one of his millers or something like that and get ahead that way, and then just OTK him with Quick Draw, like, all I need is one hit, and then Quick Draw can get me the rest. Oh, Mind Control. Yeah, I bring in Mind Control as well. I bring in Book of Moon as a way to, like, just shut him down. Book of Moon's another card I can put behind a Stardust and be aggressive with. Yeah, side out Gores, because I'm like, I'm going first. I want to be the one applying the pressure. I want to be the one attacking. I'm looking at my DD Crow. I'm looking at my Book of Moon. I'm looking at Trapstone. I decided to bring back in Typhoon, and I decided to bring in one Book of Moon, I believe. So it's like Typhoon, Book of Moon. I don't remember if I brought in the Cyber Dragons. I might have. I don't fucking know. But yeah, I just wanted to be really aggressive. And I figured that Book of Moon and Typhoon allowed me to be as aggressive as possible, instead of Scapegoat and Gores, which are both very defensive and passive cards. I don't think defensive and passive cards are going to help me all that much in this matchup. I think that we just need to OTK him or put him below 1,000 so he can't activate JD. That's kind of the big thing. This sideboarding took forever. I'm sorry, guys. Let me skip a bit. All right, cool. Moving into game 3. Draw 5. I've got Level Eater. I've got Future Fusion. Oh my god, I love this card. It's so broken. Reveal Gaia. Send Dandy, send the guy. I don't think there's a single reason not to play Future Fusion in Quick Draw. I think it's just too powerful. It makes your deck like a different tier level, even. Normal Cyber Valley, free +1. Oh my gosh. Set back row, pass turn. He got his Heavy Storm. There was my bottomless, my Future Fusion. So he's got the parry. He's going to normal Jane, attack the token, and phase mill 2. So pretty tough. We lost basically all our advantage there, but I've got Lone Fire, and Lone Fire can go get me Titanial. And like I said, I'm just going to play aggressively and just force him to have it. Attacks the Jane. He takes 1,000 because he doesn't have Honest. So yeah, Hand Traps and Edison are bullshit because you just have to play through them. You can't play around them, but as it stands, it's pretty good. His hand's got 2 Raikos. He's got a Caius, a Chaos Sorcerer, and a Necro. His entire hand is shut off by Titanial. So that's really good for us. That's really, really good for us. Set monster and pass. We're going to draw for turn. I forget what we drew. I think it was like Debris Dragon or something. I don't remember. Let's skip forward a bit. No need to. I just Caius his monster. I say, fuck it. That puts me to 5. I want to keep up the pressure. I want to get damage in. I already got 1,000. I want to get 24. Put him to 46. I have another Caius in my hand, I think. Either that or I'm about to draw to 1. I shuffle back the Titanial. I think I have another Lone Fire. So I'm thinking like I can just go get the Titanial again next turn. So yeah, just banish this guy. Keep him off his names. Keep him off his mills. He has no darks. He sets another monster. Passes a turn. We draw for turn. I believe I have another Caius here. I have a bunch of normal summons. I think my hand is 6 normal summons. But Caius is the best normal summon. If you have to pick one, Caius is usually the best. Unless you need to save Caius for whatever. So yeah, just Caius is set monster. Same thing. Hit for 24 again. And that drops him hella low. He's at 22 now. So Caius is lethal. He drew Oppression, but at this point in the game, like he's in the back foot. He has no way to really use that Oppression against me or anything. Setting it is actually probably a mistake. Turns off Gores. I have my Typhoon for the Oppression anyway, so it doesn't even fucking matter. I'm a normal card trooper. Mill 3. Gonna go ahead and attack with Caius. Oh no, I attack with Card Trooper. Attack with Caius, forces a Necrogarna. That's much better. I figured he doesn't have a third Ryko. He draws Dust Shoot. He's checking his back, or he's checking his grave, but it doesn't matter. I mean, he's just dead to the Caius on board, so yeah. He has no darks. He sets the barrier statue, sets the Dust shoots me, and we can finally see the hand. So I've got Quick Draw, which I just drew this turn. This is why you want Quick Draw, because like these hands where you have a bunch of normal summons, it just turns them all on. I guess I didn't have the Lone Fire. The card I must have saw was Jane. So yeah, I guess I didn't have the Lone Fire. I just had Jane. I was trying to cut him off mills and cut him off normal summons, and then just rush him with my hand. That makes a lot more sense. But drawing Quick Draw is obviously very broken because it allows us to make 2 plays this turn. Not that it really matters. We have game on board. So, yeah, we're just going to normal summon something, mill 3, and hey, can't stop the attack. So, that's going to be that. Just rush them down. The nice thing about the Alias and the Jane is, like, they apply aggressive pressure. They actually, like, put your opponent in a bad situation. We mill Necrogard now, which is even better for us. Go ahead and attack with the Alias first, and then attack for game. And that's going to be that. So, up 3-0 in the tournament against a couple bad matchups, Blackwing and Lightsworn, or quote-unquote bad matchups. I don't think they're that bad. But I think Lightsworn is definitely more of a bad matchup, especially when they got those main deck DD Crows. But Blackwings is probably a fine matchup. Speaking of which, in the finals of the tournament, we are playing up against Dylan, who is playing Blackwings as well. So we shall see how this goes down. I'm sure the thumbnail and title probably already spoiled a little bit, but this is an interesting game. There's something that I do in this game that I wouldn't do if I wasn't playing on camera, but I do because I am playing on camera, and I'm just curious your guys' thoughts on it. So we roll the dice. I think I win the die roll, so I get pretty lucky. Yeah, I do win the die roll, and I make a play turn 1 that I would make in the dark, but I wouldn't make if I knew who I was playing against. And I know who I'm playing against. I know I'm playing against Dylan. I know Dylan top 16, I believe, RBET LA with Blackwings. I know it's like his favorite deck, so hybrid Blackwings, I believe, with Dark Refer. And so I make a play that's the play I would make in the dark, but I know what deck he's playing, so I shouldn't have made this play. I'm not really sure. I just wanted to get you guys good content, and I'm like, this is the play I would make in the dark, which is Future Fusion, and then make a Stardust. But because I know who I'm playing against and I know his deck, I would make a different play. I would set the Sangan that's in my hand, I believe. I think I have a Sangan in my hand. So it's, you could call it a misplay. You could call it a misplay. I think you could call it a misplay. Like, if you know what your opponent's playing, because you know your opponent, you know they only play one deck, like, you should probably factor that information into your plays. But I was just making this play because this is the play I would make turn 1 in the dark versus an opponent I didn't know at a major tournament. And, like, my whole goal here is to, like, showcase how I would play at, like, a major tournament. But that being said, I could get paired against someone I know at a major tournament. And what am I going to do against someone I know at a major tournament? I'm going to make the better play. So, food for thought. Maybe let me know in the comments what you would do if you knew what your opponent was playing. Would you make a play that's only good versus their deck, or it's only good knowing what you're playing against? Or would you make the generically good play? I don't know. Either way, force him to have the Stardust out. He attacks the set card, and then he sets 3 cards. Passes a turn back. Looking at our hand, or he doesn't attack a set card. He attacks a token, my bad. Yeah, so we got normal Sangan. So there's the Sangan that I would have played turn 1. I would have held the Debris Dragon. I think that's the most important thing to note here. So I would have held the Debris. Next turn we get Gaia, pass the turn back. He's got a pretty good turn here. We decide not to attack with Stardust into Deep Prison because I need the Stardust for my next turn. He's going to go normal Shura, I believe. Yeah, Shura. Shura attack the Sangan. Sangan's going to activate and get us Quick Draw. And we have Level Eater in hand. So this is a really interesting one. I tell him Shura's Chainlink 2 because Shura is optional. So Shura resolves before Sangan. He's going to get Gale to be able to make Armor Master. And that's going to set up for the value that he has in Grave. It's possible he's not playing multiple values, but I know he plays hybrid, so he's definitely playing multiple values. He just wants to set up for that value in Grave in case we blow up his board or whatever. At this point, the Sangan attack went through, so I'm not really sure anything about his back row. But generally speaking, versus Blackwings, the most common back row they have is Icarus attack. So it's usually at least one Icarus attack. I'm going to go ahead and search Quick Draw. So he's going to Gale attack a token. So my game plan for next turn, he's going to make Armor Master. My game plan for next turn is Gaia comes out, have the Armor Master, pumps itself. I'll get to it in a second. We'll just get to it in a second. Because he's going to make Armor Master for sure. Like, this is, like, the only play to make here. And then he's going to check his back row and pass the turn. We're going to draw. Gaia's going to come out, and it's going to have and gain. So, if his back row has Solemn Judgment, this is a bad play. But if his back row has anything but Solemn Judgment, then this is a great play. We can go Quick Draw. So we have his guy, whatever. Quick Draw, pitch Level Eater, special Quick Draw, Level Eat the Gaia, Synchro into Junk Archer, priority banish the Armor Master, and then I still have my normal summon as well, which is going to be Card Trooper, and then I also still have the Level Eater coming back a second time, so I have lethal damage, basically. And I believe it's going to be good enough to put him in such a bad spot, even if he has multiple pieces of interaction that aren't Solemn. But the only thing that fucks me here is if he has specifically Solemn for Junk Archer. And if he goes for it. So Level Eater is going to come back, eat the Gaia. So make sure our Quick Draw stays at the right level. Synchro into Junk Archer. Ask if the summon is okay. He reads Junk Archer. And he is going to go for Solemn Judgment on the Junk Archer. So, yeah. I think this is a frustrating game because, again, we would have had Debris had we not gone for the Stardust earlier. We would have been able to search the Quick Draw. It would have been a very different game. It would have been a very different game if I didn't blow the Debris early. But like I said, I would have made that play in the dark, but I wouldn't make that play against specifically Dylan because I know what he plays. So, food for thought, I guess. And this is bad, too, because even if I blow up the board, now he has that Silver Wind looming because of the value resource. So, yeah, pretty unfortunate. I think I top decked another Debris, too. So I think, like, I actually even have the Black Rose play. But I'm pretty much forced to go for it because what's going to happen is next turn he's going to crash his Armor Master into my Stardust. And then I can no longer go for the Black Rose play through Icarus. That being said, I don't know if this is right. I just was kind of hoping I would top deck something good. But again, we blew that early resource. We got basically nothing out of this Stardust that we used up. And we got nothing out of our Future Fusion either, which is kind of unfortunate. I mean, nothing is kind of an understatement. I mean, like, we forced him into a position where he was forced to Solemn and pay half his life. But at this point in the game, I basically need to top deck Avarice or Caius to really have a chance because that Silver One is going to be a pain in my ass. And my deck doesn't play as much removal as like an average Quick Draw deck does. So, yeah, this Silver One's going to go pretty hard. Turns out he had Deprison Space Typhoon, so it actually would have been a really good set 3 even with the Icarus, because he goes Icarus, and I would Stardust Negate, or he would go Typhoon, I would Stardust Negate, something like that. And then, or I would just probably just let the Typhoon resolve. And then I would attack with the Stardust, he'd Deprison that. It'd be tough. It would have been tough 3 back row to play through no matter what. But I was hoping like one of them was Icarus, one of them was maybe Starlight Road, and one of them was maybe a Draw Trap or something like that, or a Deck Dev or something along those lines. Because again, he's playing Hybrid Blackwings. So my reads were not, it was not Solemn Judgment, because it's a one of, and when you're trying to play through back row, like it's not always obvious that he has a Solemn Judgment. But I guess he set 3, so it's possibly likely. Greffer, pretty strong summon, because this is going to get him to 3 monsters in play. It's going to clear both our tokens and hit us directly, so really tough. I Card Trooper mill 3, run over the Dark Greffer. Foolish Burial, send Dandelion to get 2 tokens for defense, but once again, I'm like kind of struggling here. If he can kill all my board, even top deck Caius doesn't do anything. So, yeah, pretty rough position to be in. He attacks Card Trooper. Thankfully, draw Caius here actually gets me out of it, so do I get there? And the answer is no, I draw fucking Titanium instead, so about halfway through the deck, we don't see Caius. It's pretty unlucky for us, but again, like, I could have played this game very differently. And Raiko's going to mill 3, pop a Silverwind. There goes our Caius that we would have loved to draw. There goes our Gores that would have been great earlier. Unfortunately, just a bunch of normals. He does have a Kalut in hand as well, so yeah, we attack into this Kalut with I believe a Jane, and I think my game plan here is to Jane attack over Kalut and hope to mill Necrogardener. And he's got another Kalut, so I just concede this one. That was a tough game. I mean, we started really hot, and we had a lot of opportunities to, like, I think maybe win this game. But the things didn't line up right, and we didn't draw Caius, which is our best card in this matchup, so pretty tricky. Pretty tricky. Hybrid Blackwings, you got to side a little differently, but it's more or less the same shit. You need Trap Stuns, you need Bottomless, and sometimes Compulsory DD Crow is useful here as well, because what they'll try to do is they'll try to like set up their graveyard, and then if you Black Rose them, their graveyard will be their comeback play, and Compulsory is the best in those circumstances. So flash forward a little bit, really tough game one to lose because, you know, I went first, I opened Future Fusion, I opened Stardust, like, should have been my game, but I think going for the Stardust that early is actually, like, against a known Blackwing player is probably not good. They have so many outs to Stardust with no back row that it's, like, not worth burning your payoff card for nothing. Like, they can kill it by battle pretty easily with just, like, Gale. Like, literally, like, one of cards. Or not one of cards, but, like, a bunch of cards, a one-card way to out it, usually. And it loses them nothing to do it, so. Yeah, I think might have been a bit of a mistake there. Or even maybe making Ancient Fairy Dragon could have been interesting. But anyway, I start off with a Quick Draw Drill and Lone Fire. And I'm going to set up Titanial. And I'm going to use my Drill Warrior effect to banish, I believe. And I'm going to set a Trap Stun, I think. Oh no, I'm going to charge first, get Lila. Get 2 more tokens, that's very good. So pretty nut start for me game 2. This deck just nut starts a lot. There's a lot of really broken cards in this deck between Future Fusion, Lone Fire, Quick Draw, Foolish Burial, Charge of the Light Brigade. Like, there's just a lot of really busted turn 1 cards. Dust Shoot, Solemn, like Mirror Force. The deck is just all like nut starts. So losing game 1 when you go first feels pretty fucking bad. Because obviously you want to have that opportunity to have this nut start and just close the match out. Anyway, he's reading my cards. He thinks for a while here. Thinks for a very long time here. He just sets 2 and passes. Draw for turn. Drill effect. Drill's going to come back. Drill's going to add back the, I believe the Lila, if I remember correctly. Oh, add back Quick Draw. That's pretty good. Yeah, I think a Quick Draw is pretty good here. I can just go Battle Phase attack. He takes 24. Attack for 28. He drops to 28. Is that how that works? Yeah, that is how that works. And then I pass the turn after setting a back row. He draws. There's Greffer. Greffer pitch value. Chain Torrential. So, once again, getting owned by Torrential and Blackwings. I think it's very good. I think it should be played. Especially in this hybrid build with the values. Kind of cooking me. I could have banished my drill, but I just decided not to because I have another Quick Draw in my hand. So I was like, I don't know. There's Bottomless for the Armed Wing, so kind of back and forth, but he's lost a lot of life because we were able to put on that early pressure. And that's kind of what matters here. I don't know why I decided not to banish the drill. Maybe I just didn't want to pitch my cards. I don't remember. Quick Draw, pitch Necro, sack for Caius, banish his back row, hit for 24, drop him to 400. He draws for turn. He draws a Solemn Judgment. He has to make a play. I've got Bottomless, and the Caius is going to be able to attack for game, so yeah, I think because I had double Bottomless, I didn't really care. I was just like, this Caius is going to win me the game. And it did, so good shit. Awesome. Fuck yeah. Go to the sideboarding portion. Sideboard a bunch. And this game was another interesting one. I think this was a really good match for a lot of reasons. Just showed off how good Bottomless is versus Blackwings. It's like a full turn skip. Normal Bora, set 2 pass. Draw for turn is Stratos. He dust shoots me, so going second, getting dust shoot at game 3, man, it feels fucking terrible. Can't lie, it feels really fucking bad. So, yeah, it is what it is. Our hand's pretty resilient to this. We got the Heavy Storm, we got a couple removal spells, we got Jane Stratos, so showing off the power of Jane here. Jane being able to run over their starters like Shura, like Sirocco, like Bora. It just kind of like beats over their guys. And it gets you pluses in a way that Raikou doesn't. So, yeah, he takes the Stratos. A little bit unfortunate. Stratos would have been really good for us. I Storm, summon Jane, attack, and he has Kalut. So pretty tough, but I've got Mirror Force, I've got Bottomless, so you know, it is what it is. He's going to go ahead and attack for 17, I believe, and I'm going to flip Mirror Force because I just need time. I don't want to take damage here, I just need time. I've already taken 1,000 from the Kalut swing. And it's possible if I like cut him a little short on his guys, like Bottomless is next normal, then I should be fine. He might be out of like quality cards, maybe he's got like values or something like that. His summon here is interesting. He summons Grepher main phase 2, passes priority. And this is a hard one because Grepher is so powerful in this deck if I leave it in play. And my hand is just quick draw. But if I leave it in play and I rip Dandelion, or like, it's just Dandelion really. Stratos would be good, Alias would be good. Lila would be okay because it could crash. I think leaving the Grepher in play is scary. Because he could top deck Vayu and like, or Sirocco or Elfin or whatever. And all of a sudden it gets bad. So I decided to just Bottomless because, again, my game plan is just keep my life total high. I forget what my set card is here. But he has Blizzard. He's able to Synchro. I think it's Trap Stun. I think my back row is Trap Stun. The Dust Shoot was really, really unfortunate this game. He makes Goyo Guardian. He attacks for 28. We take 28. He sets back row passes. And what do I rip into? Lone Fire Blossom. So great draw. Finally got to Dandelion. And we're able to actually make a game out of this. So interestingly enough, Lone Fire to Dandy is going to switch on my hand. It's going to switch on my quick draw. It's going to make his Goyo Guardian look a little silly. It's going to make him scared to play into like a Torrential here or something like that. Who knows? Mirror Force maybe. And as you can see, I think he's got Shura in hand, but you know, he's really respecting the potential that I was being patient with the sweeper. So, yeah. My back row is Trap Stun. So I need him to not summon another monster here so I can tribute a token and synchro with the quick draw. Or I need to draw a monster, one way or the other. He attacks with Goyo and doesn't summon another monster. We get 2 tokens. He sets a monster and passes. And this is like best case scenario for me. I mean, this is like my chance to come back into this game. Everything has gone poorly for me, but up until this point, now it's really good. I've got Quick Draw Synchron, which is one of the cards in my hand. My other draw was the second Lone Fire Blossom. So I could go Lone Fire into Titania, but that just trades with the Goyo. I don't want to trade with the Goyo. I want to beat it for free. So I'm going to Tribute Summon Quick Draw, and I'm going to Synchro into Turbo Warrior. Now for those of you guys who don't know what Turbo Warrior does, he has an Icarus attack here. He's going to try to use it, I think. Yeah, he's going to try to Icarus attack, and I've got the Trap Stun, so Trap Stun's an insane card. It's giving me chances in a game that I shouldn't have chances in. I make Turbo Warrior, and for those of you guys who don't know what Turbo Warrior does, he has 2 effects, and both of them are insane. I don't know if you guys can read it, but it says, when this card declares an attack on a level 6 or higher Synchro monster, have the attack of that attack target until the end of the damage step. So when you attack Goyo, Stardust, whatever, it halves them. So it makes Goyo Guardian 1400 attack. So that effect is already very good. It makes him a functional 5000 or whatever. That beats over stuff. The second effect is this card cannot be targeted by the effects of level 6 or lower monsters, which is incredible because that means you can't Gale have it, you can't Bryonic bounce it. So even if he has Blizzard, his Goyo Guardian is gone. He can't get over the Turbo Warrior because Bryonic won't allow him to get over it. And even if he has Gale, he can't get over it because he can't target it. So this is actually like a big turning point in the game for us. I mean, he has a clear board. He has 1 card in hand. We attack over Goyo Guardian. He has maybe a couple turns to answer this. He takes 1100. And yeah, we're actually cooking. We have Lone Fire in hand for Titanial follow-up the next turn. He needs to top deck and out to this Turbo Warrior now or he loses the game. And he sets a back row and passes. I draw for a turn, and I can't remember what I draw. I think I draw Compulsory. So now I'm like, okay, Torrential's not gone, Mirror Force isn't gone, and I'm playing a little too afraid here, but I'm just like, he has to answer this Turbo Warrior, so let's swing with the Turbo Warrior, deal 2500, set the Compulsory, and he has Typhoon, so I'm like, fuck, he has Typhoon. Okay, so this is probably the last turn he can have to top deck and out, and he top decks Whirlwind to go with his Sirocco, so. Fuck, man. It's so annoying. And what's annoying here, too, is he just, like, makes the best possible play into a possible, like, I don't think what he makes is the right play. We haven't used Debris Dragon yet. We could Black Rose Dragon him, you know what I mean? Like, we've already used Lone Fire, so him making Colossal Fighter in defense here is like a bad play. It's just a bad play. He should make Stardust Dragon. By all means, he should make Stardust Dragon. Or at least make Thought Ruler to play around fucking Brain Control or something like that. But the fact that he plays around the second Lone Fire into Titanial by making Colossal in defense is so fucking frustrating. So yeah, he tries to have, I tell him it's not a legal target. He pumps the Gale, runs over, so I take 800 here. And then he synchros into Colossal in defense. And it's just really frustrating because I'm like, man, he played around the one card that's in my hand that is the only reason to make Colossal Fighter in defense is because I have Lone Fire in my hand. Every other card in my deck, literally every other card in my deck does not give a shit about Colossal Fighter. You should definitely make Stardust Dragon here. You'll win 99% of the time, but it just happens to pay off for him that he makes the play. And because I'm so low, there's only so many warriors, I'm forced to go Lone Fire to Dandy, and I'm just like, I gotta be defensive. Like, if he top decks a monster, I need to be defensive about it. I set a back row. He plays Allure. He doesn't miss on the Allure. He blind hits, which is fucking insane. Attacks over Dandelion. So not only has he had to hit 2 top decks in a row, he's also had to make like a 1%er fucking play in order to be back in this game. And on top of that, he had Dust Shoot turn 1 going first. It's like a very frustrating game for me, as you can see. Like, pretty much every single thing has to go right for him. And you would not believe what card I top decked. You would not believe. You would not believe it. Actually, you probably would. I'm sure you saw it there. It was fucking Titanial. So I drew Lone Fire into Titanial. Bro. And I drew it with 2 tribunes in play, but it doesn't even matter because Colossal Fighter beats Titanial. There's the only reason you make Colossal Fighter here is to beat Titanial. Why would you do that when both my Lone Fires are gone? Oh, one of my Lone Fires is gone. Why would you not play around Debris Dragon? So frustrating. One of the most frustrating games I think I've ever played. He brain controls a token. He attacks. I've got Typhoon on his back row. And I've got Gores to stay alive for a turn. I got a token here. And he's at, I believe, 3,600. He attacks my Gores. It dies. He passes the turn back. We get the token. We draw for turn. And we find Alias, I believe. I look at his grave. He does have a way to reanimate. So even if I double tribute for Titanial and attack his Vayu, he can reanimate, attack over the Titanial, and attack for game. So I basically just have to, I think it's Alias in my hand. I forget what's in my hand. I don't know what's in my hand. I think I have to Black Rose, yeah. I top deck Debris, not Alias. So I finally have to Black Rose. And this is why you don't make fucking Colossal Fighter. You make Stardust Dragon here. Oh, it's so frustrating. It's so frustrating. Because the chances of me top decking one of my 3 Debris or like Sand or something like that. Obviously I side out Sand, but he doesn't know that, right? So here's a great follow-up. That's what makes this deck so frustrating to play against, because it has great follow-up. I think the hybrid Blackwings is better against us than the regular Blackwings. I think regular Blackwings is a much easier matchup. The hybrid one is hard. Set back row, pass. He attacks. Sets back row, draw. I set back row, pass. My back row right now is Trap Stun and Bottomless. His back row right now doesn't fucking matter. We just lose this one. Bad top decks. Hitting the Titanial there at a crucial moment. Really fucking frustrating. You see me cracking my knuckles because I'm so frustrated. I just want this game to be over. I Bottomless the Bora. Unfortunately, the next card we draw is Torrential. Imagine we had drawn them in a reverse order. So we missed on like fucking 6 top decks. He hit every single top deck he needed to hit. He made the right plays he needed to hit. Very frustrating game, but a well-played game to Dylan. I think other than the Colossal Fighter, I can't disagree with much of his plays. And I think he did really well, I think, in game 1 to make that Armor Master and to Solemn the Junk Archer. So I think he played game 1 really well. But yeah, I lost a lot of frustrating like situations that I shouldn't have lost most of the time, because I feel like most people are going for Stardust Dragon there. But alas, it is what it is. We got to the finals. We got second place with Quick Draw. We played against a bunch of bad matchups, and we were able to take down all of them except for one. And even in this one, the odds were in our favor. We just didn't get there, and that's Yu-Gi-Oh! Sometimes. So I really do think that this deck is... Let me zoom out so we can take a final look at this deck real quick. Let's go ahead and just zoom out a little bit. Zoom out. And let's remove the crop. If you want access to this deck, the YDK file or whatever, join the Really Big Yu-Gi-Oh Discord in the description below. Overall, my thoughts on the deck is I think it's very good. I think this deck is incredibly broken. The stuff I might change moving forward, I might reassess Scapegoat. I noticed I was siding it out a lot. It's pretty passive. It's a cool card. Helps you enable some combos, and it helps enable like the heavy count of Quick Draw and Debris Dragon as well as the Cyber Valley. So it might still be worth maining, and it is good in some matchups and in some situations. So I do think it's a pretty strong card. I just don't know if it's going to stay in the main. And then for the side deck, what I'm reevaluating is like, I don't think that the Dust Tornado is very high impact. I think I might assess the Dust Tornado. And I think the same thing with DD Crow. I think DD Crow is a little low impact, and so is Cyber Dragon. That being said, DD Crow, again, is a hand trap, and hand traps are broken. So possibly want to keep the DD Crow, cut a Cyber Dragon, add a Kaiku, have 4 pieces of Graveyard Hate, and then I possibly want to cut the Dust Tornado and fit another card in my sideboard there. But overall, I think this deck is great into Vayu. I think it's great into Frogs. I think it's good enough into pure Blackwings. I think it's really rough into hybrid Blackwings. That's probably your hardest matchup. I think it's good against Dragons. I think this deck is good against Machina. I think it's very good against Machina. The Quick Draw Mirror is always going to be tough, and I think Amaryllis is always going to be a little bit tough just because of the nature of it. But unlike those Quick Draw decks with the multiple Raikos, you actually don't have as hard a time playing into Titanial because you just have more combo pieces, more Black Rose access, less cards that target. So 3 Caius is like your big thing that targets Liline Raiko to some degree, but other than that, playing through Titanial is much easier with this build just because you have access to that Road Warrior, you have access to that Nitro Warrior much easier, you've got the level leader stuff, etc. So yeah, fun deck, highly recommend it. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below, and yeah, don't forget to smash like and subscribe because this video took a shitload of effort. So see you guys in the next one. Peace.